Live, as was promised in the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Shepherd's Journal, it is the Dragon Friends. Thank you.
What?
What's up, Internet?
We are live. We are actually live.
Michelle Gondry, eat your heart out.
Yeah, lo-fi is the new fi, as they say. We are Dragon Friends, where we play Dungeons & Dragons badly. We've been playing Tomb of Annihilation for a while now. If you're just tuning in, if you were enjoying Critical Role just before, how would you describe this show, Simon?
I'd say it's just friendship.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah, and for the first time ever, we're doing this live with the chat. So,
Oh, is that the question?
so we can. I see somebody's already commented on the new tablecloth.
Yeah, look, there's only so much abuse Simon's tablecloth can get. So this is Alex.
Simon's mother-in-law's tablecloth.
This is Alex's tablecloth. Let us know what you think of the tablecloth.
Yeah.
We
Is
are
this-
nothing if not slaves to fashion.
I said
And
I'd bring
this
a new
is
one,
fashion.
and I did. And luckily, the tablecloth I bought for my mother, she did not like, so I got it back.
How did she tell you that?
She said, "I don't like it. Here you go."
When you handed it to her?
No, it was like a week after.
So she stewed on it for a week and then...
Just got angrier and angrier and angrier.
I like it. It's got hydrangeas on it. I feel a bit nervous. I've got stage fright.
Really?
Because
What
we're
if
doing
the
this
people
live.
on the internet are mean to me?
Yeah.
No,
so-
no one on the internet's ever been mean.
No,
No,
that's
no.
right.
And you know, the most terrifying thing about doing a show like this is that we won't do the copious amounts of editing that we always do of every episode.
Oh yeah, really tighten that up.
Yeah, we're mad for editing.
Yeah, you're kind of talking. You're really riding the lightning here, aren't you? Because you could say anything and just go out to the internet. On
Yeah,
the
Greg
official
Tito can't
Dungeons
stop me.
Dragons
Greg,
stream.
we are live now, so yeah, Greg.
What's up, Greg?
Yeah, what's
What's
up?
up, Greggy?
You can't stop us. we can tell you some real truths.
Nobody admit to being the Zodiac killer because in the past when you've done that, we've been able to edit it out.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, why is it that you keep crying and saying you're the Zodiac killer?
When clearly we are all the Zodiac Killer.
Yeah, look, it's a group effort. I shouldn't have taken credit for it. I'm sorry.
It's true.
Now, this is episode 6 of season 2. When last we met the Dragon Friends. Should we just do it? Should we just go right into it?
Can we imagine that one or more of us had kind of forgotten what had happened in the past episode?
I will note that, like, my 50% of the Dungeon Master screen is full of notes, maps, players' handbooks, and yours is full of Uber Eats.
And a chicken burger. A little chicken burger.
Did you just
It's
make
funny
the
'cause
noise
Team Zodiac.
of the animal you're about to eat?
normally when we're doing this, you're on the chat. You're talking about how you want a burger and then how you go and get a burger.
He's learning.
So
Yeah, have you just given yourself, like, a Pavlovian sort of weird response
Yeah.
that you now need to...
Yeah,
Chicky burg.
Twitch and Chicky Bergs specifically have been joined in my head.
Okay,
Twitchicky burg.
Follow-up question. Did you just grab a chili burger and then wipe your eye?
I did. I did.
Because I saw that.
I'm just going to use the condensation from this Pepsi can.
Bathe my eye in cola.
Yes.
That is... Oh, yeah, it's really hitting.
I think...
Trembit is reminding you, Ben, in case you were wondering, that what we did was dog a hydra.
Oh,
No,
yeah,
I believe
we
you're
did.
saying
Ah,
Doga.
do-
Hydra.
Dozed.
Doged.
Dozed
Dozed.
the Hydra
Such
and ruled
hydra,
well.
much heads, very
Thank
well.
you, Trembit 1.
What if you poured some Pepsi into your eye as a cleaning mechanism? Because I feel like there's not a lot of moisture to condense.
No, this has been good.
That'll clean you right up.
Pepsi
I'll
in
dab
your-
some on a
Please
serviette
do not
for
put
you.
Pepsi in my eye.
Aw.
This is like frog on a log.
Yeah, what about you, Eden? What did you get up to?
I drove across Australia.
That's not true.
It is true.
In the last week.
Nah, it was the
2
week
weeks
before
ago.
that.
Where did you go?
I drove from Perth to Sydney. It's like real flat.
That's so far.
Yeah, it's heaps far. It took me 6 days of driving like 10 hours a day. See Australia, it's flat.
In parts.
Did you
What's
see
the best thing you saw?
A wedge-tailed eagle just fucking monging on a dead kangaroo. Just like,
Yes.
See, that's the kind of thing that Greg would have liked us to cut,
Oh.
probably.
We're live!
That's, did you have anybody with you?
yeah, I drove with a friend and an anxious bulldog named Blanche Dogwa.
That Blanche! I work with Blanche
You
now.
work-
We work with Blanche.
Yeah, exactly.
Blanche is on a higher pay rate than you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Blanche
Blanche
might
is
even be
great.
upstairs right now.
Yeah.
Could be.
Whose dog is Blanche Dogwa?
Right.
Haley.
Haley
Yeah.
Dennison.
Oh, wow, all right.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
if-
cool.
Hey, Haley.
Blanche is great.
Shout out to Blanche.
Yeah.
You're a
But yeah,
good
she is
dog.
very anxious.
Oh, she
Is there
is.
Twitch for dogs?
What?
I'm just
What?
wondering if
No.
there's like dog Twitch that people leave on for their dogs so that they feel like comfy at home. Sorry, sideline.
Because if not, you've got a business proposition.
Yes. Dear Twitch.
And I was going to say, I had a question for you. Oh, Eden, did you see someone drew a picture of you?
Yes, it was very flattering.
was
Thank you
very
very much.
nice.
I'm sorry that I cut my hair. Whoever drew that picture, it'll grow back.
Where can people send their pictures if they do pictures, Dave?
Oh, that's a great question.
They can wrap them around a brick and throw them through the window of Dave and Shakira's
Well,
apartment.
please don't do that. It's the ground floor, so that's a credible threat. Just hit us up on Drugenfriends, which is our Twitter.
DRGNFR.
No vowels.
No
Yep.
vowels in here.
Couldn't afford to buy them.
Hey.
Or the Dragon Friends. Or if you want to baffle a Korean programmer, just send it to the popular app Dragon Friends, which has been there for about as long as us and has many more followers.
Yeah, although some of the reviews on that app do complain about how much cum is in their game. I feel like some wires have been crossed.
Do you think News of Us has gotten to them?
Oh, I think that we certainly play havoc with their SEO.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, now we haven't got Dice Cam. Shaq, is that about
We got
right?
Dice Cam.
What are we thinking? Yeah? Unreal.
All right.
Got
Nice.
it in one.
Let's
Play
crack into
some
it.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, yeah.
You are panicking.
Me and Al decided that we only talk like
We
little
all got talk like
babies now.
babies.
We talk like little babies.
That's really irritating.
Oh, God.
Okay, so Rasnasi's voice.
Yeah, I'm a little baby snake man.
All right.
Don't save it.
Okay.
Yeah. Congratulations
Okay.
on discovering your third voice, Ben.
Dorgon Franz.
Okay, so the Dragon Friends, when last we met, had but a simple task to survive the infamous slave pits of the Yuan Ti of Omu. Such was their supplication to the Night Snake Denda that many slaves are offered in sacrifice and labor. However, it seems that the life of servitude is not for you, for the Dragon Friends have escaped. Angered Hydra, I would argue, unnecessarily.
I think the Hydra was angry to begin with.
Yeah, I think the Hydra's grateful for
I think
us
it'll probably
for
have some
freeing her.
stuff to work out, have some time to itself,
But we freed
work
the
through
Hydra.
some things.
Yeah.
Hashtag free the Hydra.
Did the Hydra, was it angry that we freed it?
I think it was. I think it
Was
lives,
it angry that we shot it?
I think
with
it's general.
spells?
I think
You shot it with spells.
I think it was tied down, and you spend a lot of time shooting it with sort of high velocity spells.
Uh-huh.
You really wore that down.
And I wouldn't be happy about that.
No, you're not happy about that. But then when we freed it, it's gonna
Yeah.
be like, oh,
Means to an end.
yes.
I'm going to expect a thank you card.
Well, talk.
It may not be just a card, for the Hydra is now loose inside the Fane of the Night Serpent, but so too are the Dragon Friends, having found a secret door, smashing it open for the inquiring minds are not your strong suit. You have found yourselves in the corridors
Rude.
underneath the royal palace where Raznasi snake people live, pray, and do their dastardly works.
Did you
Yeah, you go.
What?
Eat, Pray, Love is the...
I'm going to get through this intro. You have
We'll see.
You have 2 fucking hours to derail this. But what of Raznasi? For we have not seen him since you entered the Fane. What too of Fenthaza, the serpent mistress, who seemed to be interested in the 4 of you? And I stress again, not for sex, despite the fact that you certainly seem to imply that, Ben. And what of Justin the Terrible, Hing, your warlock friend, who also has been working with Raznasi now?
Protege, yes.
Protege? Not a
Well-
friend. So if he said friend, you would correct him protege.
I wouldn't do it to his face, but I'd send him a note later. You should reconsider our
classic
relationship.
Hing.
Yeah, Hing insists that I still refer to him as my colleague.
Okay, all right. For the answers to questions such as these, keep watching. Look, that's a...
Dungeons and Dragons will happen any minute now.
So you have burst your way through a entrance of about 5 feet wide, and you have found yourselves in what seems to be a warren of sleeping chambers, small sort of niches carved into the wall with rags and bones. This is obviously a mass warren where
like
the-
a bone for a pillow and a rag for a blanket.
yeah, look, no, but they live tough. They're working snakes. And this is obviously space for about 40 inhabitants. You can hear muffled sounds that the Fane is obviously still occupied in front of you, and you can hear the screams of Slave Master Issar's men behind them as they hunted by a bloodthirsty Hydra, which is going to finish eating them any second now and try to smash through this
So is that Slave
opening.
Master dead?
No, he wasn't there. Oh, Cody was there, wasn't he?
The little boy?
The irritating little boy.
Did he get eaten?
He got eaten.
Yeah.
Did he get eaten?
I don't think he got eaten. I think
Chat.
he,
Oh,
he,
he
he
was in the
screamed. He went down and we
bar.
did a scream. So maybe this is the end of Cody. Maybe we'll see him
Because I remember
again.
what he sounded like, but I don't remember what the Slave Master
he
sounded
did
like.
sound like a little baby. The Slave Master didn't talk.
Okay. Oh, that's right. He had no tongue.
No.
Yeah, that's
Sure,
how
he had no
sounded.
tongue.
He got eaten.
Thank you,
Rebooting from start. Thank you.
Right.
Oh,
Pretty
wow.
sure.
I'm pretty sure.
Canon.
Okay.
Canon.
And
We joke about the fact that it's great that we have a wiki because we have no idea what's going on in this show.
So this is like a sleeping chamber for yuantis.
Yes, this
We're
is
like in a yuanti dorm.
dormitory.
How many? Is it empty though?
At the moment, it looks empty. Yes, it's unlit, and as I said,
Can I look around for some weapons?
Yeah,
Because we
any
don't have any
torches?
weapons,
you
do
have
we?
no weapons. Yes, you've unchained yourselves, but you have no weapons.
All right. What's
All
around?
right.
Any weapons?
No.
All right, I'm gonna look under all the beds.
No.
Okay, the beds are niches carved in the rock, so underneath the beds is rock.
Ouch!
Bonk your
and-
head.
I bonked my head.
is it just like the corridor is
Next
like
bed.
leading away? Like,
That's right. It's a kind of Warren-y area.
is there an upper incline or a downwards incline or a
You're
flat
going further
incline?
down. No, you're going
Right.
further down.
Okay.
Where did they put our stuff when they captured us?
They took it from you as you were entering. When you went through the main gates, you were sent off. I think you guys went left into sort of the slave pits, and the ones that had your bags went further forward into the.
So we don't really know where they are.
No, it's a quite big complex.
All my water skins.
Okay.
Don't
So
forget,
there's
you
no
could have had a
belongings in the
map.
dormitories.
I feel it would be remiss to not point out that you could have had a map. Me and Ben put a map.
We put a map in the game.
Yeah, but you made a
and
character
then you
rip it up.
we put a map in the game for you, and then you Hing ripped it up.
And Alfie has a good question. Is
No, you're
Friezo
right.
still naked?
Oh yes, Friezo is naked. Did you piss yourself?
Yes. Is there any? Are there any?
There are
there's
rags.
there's no personal belongings in the dormitory.
No, that's not true. There is actually there are rags. Most of them are scraps, but you can see actually there is some bedding in one of the niches that you could probably
Ooh.
drape yourself in.
Yes, I will. I will take some sheets and I'll wrap myself a toga.
Okay, I did not say that they were sheets. Sorry.
Is it lit?
Very dark, low light, so you can all sort of. It would be disadvantage for you to fight. Okay.
So, wait. So what you said there was bedding, but they're not sheets. So what is it?
Okay, so you find a kind of what looks like a sort of filthy rag that was once used and like lost behind a kind of oven in a filthy kitchen. It's covered in grease.
They're
And
using
It's in
that-
the sleeping quarters.
Are they using that as bedding?
no. It's just sitting in the corner.
What's the bedding?
You said bedding.
There is bedding. I said there's lots of little rags, but you can have a filthy. You can have a filthy oil.
I feel
sheet.
like
do
you're
you
retconning
sleep?
this, Dave.
Do you think you could weave some little rags together and have a coat of many colors?
Oh, I like that.
Shotgun that.
That's going to take some time.
I
What are
rolled
you
a
doing?
16.
What are you rolling?
Yeah,
What are you
roll.
rolling?
Rolled a
He
16.
rolled
Needle
16 to get a
craft.
coat of
Okay,
many colors.
That is going to take at least an hour to make. Are you?
All right. Well, I'll do that.
All right, great. All right.
What's at the other? What's the exit to this
I'm
room?
going to keep going with the other dragon friends,
Yeah.
unless you guys are happy to wait for 60 minutes.
No.
No.
You guys don't want to hang out? Watch an episode of 60 Minutes.
Go, Joseph.
Well, we
they
can
know
at
what they
least
say.
we can at least poke our head out and see what's
All right.
outside the door.
So, as Friezo tries to sort
Was
of
that coat magic?
what?
No, it was just
No, it's just the
Technicolor.
power of God.
In
It was a magic Technicolor dream coat.
But was it magic?
No, it wasn't.
It was an amazing Technicolor drink.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
amazing.
It's a
It
coat of
wasn't
many
magic.
I thought it
colors.
was amazing because it did magic tricks.
So it didn't confer on the wearer any powers.
No,
You're,
not
you're-
real magic.
you're
just
thinking
like
of Lord of the
magic
Rings.
I think I might be.
I think you're thinking of the Ring in Lord of the Rings or
You're
the
thinking one
cloak
coat
in
to rule
Harry
them all.
Potter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even remotely magic.
Yeah, because you
Professor
felt
Dumbledore
amazing in it.
so loved Harry Potter that he gave him a coat of many
Yeah,
colors.
But there wasn't. It's Technicolor dream coat, so there must be some sort of dream interpretation.
He
or
does. No,
something.
no. Joseph has a series of dreams that Pharaoh. He interprets Pharaoh's dreams. That's the thing that.
Can I interpret dreams
but
now?
only when he's wearing a coat.
No, I don't think the coat is
But
necessary.
did he ever try to interpret dreams while not wearing a coat?
Do you know this from the Bible or the musical?
I know from the
That was going to be my next question.
definitely know it from the musical.
All right, so I'm going to.
Yeah, we know
interpret
you're going to
dreams now.
waste your time. No,
Look, the chat
don't
has
write that
He's got
down.
interpret
Don't
dreams.
write that. You are not allowed to write that down.
cannon.
Cannon.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Risa, we had a dream last night that me was
Oh.
fighting Big Hydra.
Oh, do you think you fought a Hydra recently?
Doesn't even have the coat yet.
Yeah, but it's like we said, the coat isn't necessarily what's.
No, that's true. Friezo can be someone who believes he can interpret dreams.
Thank you.
That's
What the
allowed.
Hydra symbolize?
talk
Eden,
about
would you
Hydra.
like to know the answer to your question? What's
Yes.
on the other end
What's
of the
on-
corridor?
Yes, please. What is there? I'm going to explore. Is there like a bone or something, like a femur I can use as a club?
These are small bones, the little baby bones.
Can I put them in between my fingers and have like a cool Wolverine claw?
Oh, that's cool.
Wait, I'm a monk now. I don't need weapons. I'm like, poof, like that.
Down the end of the corridor, you can see a corridor that goes about 20 feet. Are you just going to walk down it? It's low lit.
I'm going to sneak down it
All right.
Bobby, why don't you sneak
Okay,
down?
I'll sneak down it.
Make a perception check for me. Just DC 14.
I've got dark vision.
Oh,
20.
20.
Oh,
Bo- 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 bo-
amazing.
bo. So you can hear the sound of the Fane all around you. You get a sense that you are in a level below the main complex.
Mhm.
You're actually, sonically, you're able to sort of piece the building together. You also can hear at the end of this corridor what at first it's a sound that you think might be more water, but then with your very keen hearing, you can discern, in fact, it is the sound of hundreds of snakes.
Ooh.
What sounds that, Dave?
That sounds like one little snake.
Yeah. do more snakes.
All together. One,
More
two,
snakes.
three.
1, 2, 3.
Snake!
Hey, did anyone else's
for
mother
fuck's
or
sake.
father make that noise when they wanted you to go do a pee pee?
What?
No,
No?
sorry, no. We
When
will
you were-
we
when
will
you were,
stop
like,
for this.
potty training. Did they ever make that? Never mind. Okay. it was
No,
fine.
no,
You
no,
know
no,
No.
I will tell you right now, I need to wait.
My parents would play Waterfalls by TLC.
And you
Little
can't listen to that song
Eden
to
has
this
a
day
natural
without pissing your pants.
That's a noise I would make to my siblings if we were in the car and one of them said they needed to do a wee.
Yeah.
And then you do it to tease them, to make
Right.
them wee.
Okay. Yes, but also if your parents were just encouraging you to wee.
Porn Dream, the picture on the dice tower is, I think, naked, sexy Baston and horsey two horse.
I like Japan androids. That was enough D&D for one day.
All right. Sorry. Let's
Okay,
go
we are
back.
hemorrhaging viewers. So,
I'm sure we are.
All right.
I'm sure that we are. Okay.
so Bobby, you have done that, and can you quickly make for me a stealth check as well to go with that?
That's a.
That's a 9 plus your 5 is 14. Oh, excellent.
okay.
We'll tell you later. Great. There's much more dice over here if you want them.
Oh, thank you.
So, with that, you guys are. Bobby, you're at the end of the corridor. Eden, you're just at the mouth of the corridor.
Yep.
Friezo, you are making.
Weaving?
You're weaving.
A coat of many colours.
Yes,
And
a Technicolor
Phil-
Dreamcoat.
You are explaining in unnecessarily lurid detail a dream you had.
Yeah, that's right.
But I think she's actually just recounting what happened to her 10 minutes ago
Yes.
and is confused.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so...
So Bobby, we go to you. So you're at the top of the corridor.
Okay.
Unless you have something that you want to do that is D&D related, Alex.
yeah, I did.
Oh, sorry. What was it?
I want to look around the room for more stuff because I've got dark vision, so I should be able to find something real good.
I take it back. That is actual D&D. Make an investigation roll.
That's an 18.
Oh, okay.
Oi.
Very nice.
Bingo, bingo.
All right.
You
So
find a chicky bird.
Yum, yum, yum.
okay. So you're searching the room and you find hidden in some pots along the edge. Most of them are empty, but one of them has a small iron key in it.
Great, I take the pot.
Okay.
I just assumed
You-
they would be
you-
chamber pots.
you-
Yeah, okay, I'll take the key.
You take the,
Oh, and can I take the pot?
you can take the pot as well.
Great. How many pots are there?
There's 4 of them, and they
Ooh.
smell of night soil.
What's night?
Oh, night
Piss.
soil.
Night soil
Oh,
isn't
sounds
piss.
exotic.
Night soil is
Isn't
Poop?
there a podcast called Welcome to Night Soil?
it's very niche.
I'll take them because my other friends will get jealous if and we don't have any weapons, so that's basically a helmet. So I'll take the 4 pots.
All right, great. You have 4 ceramic pots and an iron key.
Don't put them on your head. Phil.
What about you, Eden? What are you doing?
I think I'm gonna follow because we've escaped, right? So sitting around and sewing for an hour.
Smash! The Hydra has finished eating and is now trying to cram its way
Holy shit!
through
I'm
that
following
door.
Bobby.
Yeah,
I'm
let's,
following Bobby.
All right, so
Let's
you're
get outta here.
Quickly and
Has the
carefully.
Hydra healed at all since our last fight with it?
no, it's still, but it
Did it
had,
take any damage when it was eating the other, when it was attacking the other people?
do
That's
you want to
not
go and
how it
ask it?
works.
Like it
Oh,
doesn't it doesn't
okay,
have a health
no.
bar above
No,
its
no,
head.
but I'm saying like if it looks like it's just fought more,
You
because
can't see
obviously
it.
we were attacking it with spells, but they would have been attacking it with swords and whatnot. So I'm looking for cuts and stuff on the Hydra.
It's on the other side of the rock, so if you want to go towards it, you'll have to get close enough that it might be able to bite you.
Oh,
You could do that if you want.
No, Dave.
It's a trap.
No, I know your skinny ways.
Alf Fly just said, well, good job nobody's sitting around weaving.
So this is probably going to be more of a Technicolor Dream vest, I believe.
Or a belt.
Discarding the cloth. Yeah. So you
Is it
managed.
enough to...
Wait, so you're wearing a vest and no pants?
I think it's a
Yeah,
vest
yeah.
and a bolero. You have enough time to make a dream vest and a dream bolero.
What's a
Oh, sorry, bolero jacket. Sorry.
What's
I
Does it
mean-
cover his chungy dongy?
No, okay. You can have a dream bolero and a dream cummerbund, and that's my final offer.
What's a bolero? I don't know what a
Still
bolero
hasn't
is.
managed to cover his dick.
Yeah. A bolero jacket. It's like what the
Matadors
wear.
It's
Oh,
a-
cute.
It's a-
Oh,
it's like a midriff jacket.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take that. I'll
So
take
you have a
and
bolero
cummerbund.
and Cummerbund, and that's all the
Cummerbund.
time you made.
Come a bund.
Come a bum.
And
Bund.
you
Benedict's come a bund. That's a thing I just thought of.
Ah, well done.
Thank God.
and the three of you race to the end of the corridor where Bobby holds up a hand for to go no further, and it is a good thing that he has. For Bobby, you've stopped because you realised once you heard the sound that the next room is actually a trap of sorts, because the moment you go through the threshold, there is a small skirting of wooden planks and then a huge pit writhing in tiny snakes.
Oh, so it's a nursery.
Oh.
It is. It's a nursery. You are understanding the biome of the night serpents.
Tiny snakes.
So
Yeah, little ones.
How big?
Are any of them tiny, half snake, half people, or are they all just regular snakes?
No, these are regular snakes.
And are they sort of within a 20-foot cone, would you say, Dave?
They're certainly there. It's a yes.
can we? So
Okay.
is there an exit on the other side of this room?
There is. There's an exit on the left-hand wall and an exit on the far side.
So
of the
basically,
room.
there's a plank, a gangplank across the room.
No. It's skirts the walls
Around
of
the edge
room.
of the
Oh,
room.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Does it look like walkable, like safe?
Skirtable.
Can I test it?
It's probably about only extrudes about, I'd say, a foot from the wall, and it looks a bit uneven. It would definitely require a steady foot to get across it. And if you
Okay.
fell, you would fall into the pit.
So do we burn the snakes before or after?
I think we burn the snakes.
Okay.
And
Well,
just be
I
clear,
see
these
no
these are regular
reason.
snakes. They're not baby snake people.
But we don't know that.
These
Maybe
look
they
like
turn into
look like regular small
But
snakes.
maybe they turn into Yuanti at puberty or something.
Is anyone
you know?
a parcel tongue?
No.
Oh, I have-
wait. No.
I speak with animals,
Yes,
but I think I can also
Why do
burn
you-
animals.
you
so
have beast speech.
Why
That's
don't you
correct.
speak to them and just see? They might be tiny,
Okay.
grown snakes.
Okay,
Snakes.
so I'm gonna
Try and
I'm
act
gonna-
cool.
I'm gonna edge
Yeah.
up to the snake pit and lean over, and I'm gonna yell, "Are you flammable?"
and you hear from the snake pit, "We're just little babies.
There we go.
Are you my daddy?
You're Papa."
Papa.
Yes, I'm.
Babies.
Yes, I'm
I
your
just for the record want to say that is not what I whispered to Ben.
He said you should make them say, "We're little babies."
Whoa, baby snake.
Um, yes,
The
yes,
snake in between.
Yes, I'm your papa.
Oh, Papa.
I'm your father. Imprint on me, and tell your siblings that I am the alpha snake. And if you would like to gain favor with your papa, then you will do my bidding.
Okay. Being able to talk to someone does not confer you the power to become their leader.
No, they asked if I was their papa, and then I said yes, and then they agreed.
So only these two idiots.
All right, well I'll see what they do then. The ball is in their court.
They go, "Everybody, it's Papa."
Yeah, Papa.
And then,
We love you, Papa.
"I love you, Papa."
I love you too,
And then-
conditionally on you obeying me.
And then the other snakes are just like, "What? What the?" And they eat those two.
Whoa.
Oh
Whoa. I'm food.
I'll
now.
avenge you, children, and I cast burning hands into the pit.
You can't cast Burning Hands because did you have a spell slot left?
Oh no! All right, well I can't. Damn it!
So you just like show them your hands?
All right, then I'll
Literally.
cast a-
You show them sweaty palms.
You need just a short rest. So even if you can find somewhere to hide, which I would not advise being a room full of snakes or a room that a hydra's trying to break into, you can get your spells back. You're because
Why
you're a
don't we just
warlock.
try and skirt around the
Yeah,
outside
yeah.
of this wall.
So I want to skirt around the edge and listen at the door on the left to see if I can hear what's down there.
I've only got a pen for myself here. Oh right. Yeah.
Can I do that, Dave?
There's
Can I-
pens,
can I?
maybe more pens over there. Sorry.
I want to walk around the edge of the room because there's a door on the left. I want to listen at the door to see if I can hear what's down there.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Okay, I'm gonna do it. I don't know what I'm rolling
That's a hot
for,
two,
but it was a
baby.
hot 2.
Okay, I'm
I'm
gonna
bad
try
at
and
listening.
skirt around as well. So that's a 20.
Hey!
Oh, rolling like a
So-
champion,
Yeah, you
mate.
got fire hands today,
That is,
buddy boy.
you are doing very well. All right. Well, again, I'm going to give you more than I would have. So, as you make your way up to the door, this is a quite sort of simple stone portal. If you push it, it's counterweighted. It'll open up. The function of a door. And inside, you can hear a muffled conversation that your keen halfling ears can discern. And it seems to be between, you recognize the sort of guttural sound of a Yuanti arguing with the annoying sound of a warlock in training called Justin, and a muffled conversation with the Yuanti insisting. Now, ready. The ritual requires a blood wetting. So pop into this little chamber here, and the blood will cover you.
Oh, awesome.
He doesn't. He sounds a little bit reluctant, however.
Oh, he's like, it won't be my blood, will it?
I've taken over the character.
Yeah, no, go. I feel like this is quite exposition heavy, and I'm only gonna fuck it.
Probably should have briefed me on this, Dave, if you want me to say
I
something.
did brief you on this.
Yeah, but like last week.
Yeah. And then you guys spent an entire adventure fighting a Hydra. Now we're doing it.
Okay. I've got some notes here. Oh boy. So Justin.
Listen, Justin. You do you serve Raznasi?
Yeah.
Do you serve Dendar the Night Serpent?
Oh yeah, like whatever.
Do you wish to create a reign of darkness that will swallow this world whole?
Yeah, like totally metal.
We can offer you great power, Justin, but with it comes great sacrifice. If you were to undergo the ritual of the Malison and become one of our people, it requires a blood wetting.
Yeah, cool. I wonder if you could just like, if I could just get the power, like, just like, I'll take care of it.
And so the conversation, much like a video game before you enter, continues to go around before becoming vaguely circular.
Oh, I don't know.
And so is there's a door? So is the idea that they're gonna like just shove him through the door to get feasted on by snakes?
No, the door's closed,
Yeah.
and you don't know what's inside.
So what's the function of a door?
I
Keeps
think they're gonna like cover him in that blood or that sacrifice blood from all the slaves, and then that will turn him into a snake.
Right. I thought that he was gonna do the wedding in the snake room.
Oh, I don't know. That was
blood
just my
wetting, not blood
interpretation.
wedding.
Blood letting? But what about a bloodletting?
We're gonna
is where
wed you to a
let
list.
Yeah, yeah.
I think a wetting is when you have a bath in blood.
So we had a bloodletting, and now we're gonna have a blood wetting.
Yeah,
Blood wedding.
You just get wet by blood. You just get wet.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely confused. Is it T or D?
It's T. Was I not being clear? All right.
What is a blood wetting?
That is a good
Is
question.
it blood wetting?
It's not something you're familiar with.
Frieza wouldn't know what a blood wetting is.
A blood wetting, no.
Okay.
Not beyond
Blood wedding?
not beyond what the words mean.
And who's overheard this?
I'm here.
Bobby.
Yeah. But this is the only direction we can go in, basically.
No.
No, there's a door at the other end of the thing. Sorry, Dave.
Yeah,
Yes.
but to go any further this way, you can sort of go through a quite sturdy part of the planks. But to go to the other side of the room, you're gonna have to balance on those little
Alright,
outside
well, it sounds
bits.
like we probably don't want to interrupt a wedding because people will be upset. Don't want the father of the bride.
I love weddings.
Can we pick up the sturdy planks and move them over?
That's a 6 + 7.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
All right. So that's Bobby. Jumps forward before hearing Filch's excellent idea about like occupational health and safety
Bobby,
inside a
grab
dungeon.
sturdy bar. Never mind.
And plunges forward with the confidence of someone who's been hearing really well and hits a rotten timber and falls into the pit of snakes.
Can I try and grab him?
No, you can't. Bobby, you are now
Aw.
in the pit of snakes.
No.
We go quick immediately into initiative order, which means that Frieza, you're first.
How far down is the pit?
It's 20 feet down.
So I can't. How tall is Frieza? Would it be 20 feet tall? All right. Well, I will jump down into the pit with the snakes with Bobby.
What are you doing?
How many snakes are? How many
Thank
snakes are
you.
there?
It's
All right.
full of snakes.
Is this like a Indiana Jones car full of
How
circus train car full of snakes scenario? Or?
How many snakes do I kill?
That's pretty much exactly what it
Okay,
looks like.
right.
Sorry?
As I land on the snakes, I'm gonna like stomp down like a
Oh, you're making a diving charge at the snakes.
like a jump attack, like yeah.
All right, great. All right, excellent.
Well, to cover as much area as possible, you should like belly flop on them.
No, because that would distribute my weight, whereas I really want to be able to kill a lot of snakes. Because if you distribute your weight across a larger area, the force is minimum. You know what I mean? So
Make
what
an
you wanna
attack
do is,
roll
like,
for me.
ha-cha-cha.
Your enemies organize themselves underneath your feet.
What I did, Dave, is I rolled a 6.
A 6.
Okay.
All right, interesting. So you belly flop onto a pit full of snakes and don't actually damage any of them.
Okay.
Anything, some of them feel better.
Yeah, it's like cushioned by your bolero jacket.
There's one snake who's like, oh, I've got a sorest little back. Oh, I guess I'm 100% back, aren't I? And then you land on him, and he's like, oh, cool, blimey, I feel great. And he goes, nah.
There is no consistency in these snake voices. What is...
2 of them were little baby idiots,
Yep.
and the rest of them were,
One of them
it's a
was
diverse
normal,
community,
and
Dave.
one of them was Michael Caine.
yes.
All right.
Okay.
Michael Fang.
Now these,
Michael Fane.
Michael
Fane of
Fane?
the Night Serpent.
There you go.
I'm going to cast Disguise Self.
It's not your turn,
Okay.
but
Oh.
good to know.
I thought those guys are just standing around a pit.
This is fair. Best on. You're up next.
Is there any like ropes, or could I use it? So it's 20 feet down.
Yeah, 20 feet down.
Was there any things that looked like ropes that were back in the halls, or like
Yeah, there was like long, sort of thin rags, and there's the weaving. There's he's weaving shit. There's
Um,
There was Hing's cummerband.
I'm gonna go and look for
What is going on
We're
this side?
just asking the audience quietly and politely, how many meters is 20 feet?
Okay, right.
6 meters.
Yeah, it's
and a
about
bit.
Ah,
6
it's
feet.
nothing.
Yeah.
That's heaps far.
That's
How
like
tall-
as
how
how
tall is
tall I
Phil?
am.
That's twice this ceiling.
6 meters. Phil's just not 6 meters tall, is she?
Oh wait, no, I'm 6 feet.
Yeah, I think you're
No,
thinking
you're
of
just
the.
about 8 feet tall, I
8
think.
feet.
It's a deep.
How many
pit.
meters is that? Two?
Tall.
That's a 2.5.
Oh.
She's tall. She's bloody tall, mate.
I'm gonna have to go back to the art and fix some some scale issues.
I don't reckon I could make a rope out of those rags.
Oh, look, you could probably cobble together. Some of them are pretty long, but you can probably cobble them together if you want. But it would take your action.
But there's no like ladders out of the pit? Are there? Is there a ladder in the pit?
There's not a ladder in the pit. The walls are pretty rough.
Craggly.
They're a
So
bit
they
craggly.
could, yeah, I'm gonna go get some shit to make a rope to help them get out.
All
of
right,
the pit.
Baston starts making a rope.
Give me a go.
Do you know what? You were fourth in the initiative, but because you're always low, and that's probably also because you have very low dexterity. Phil, you could go next.
Yay! Lean in, everyone. Phil's just gonna grab one of the wooden planks and lower it down to Bobby and say, "Bobby, climb up.
What am I, chop liver?
Reverse." Oh, yeah, you got yourself into this mess. Reverse slippery dip.
Okay, so the planks, as I said, are about a foot long. You're probably about.
A foot long.
Sorry.
Oh, so they're like around the edges, like that long.
Yeah. That's because
Foot
that's what
wide.
they would.
Yeah, but they're
Yeah.
all connected to each other. I can't
Or are they,
just
like,
grab
wedged
up,
into, like, a
grab up
gap?
a hunk.
You
They're,
can grab.
they're nailed together.
Oh, I see. You want to like break a big part of the board off, like the whole sidewalk off.
Fields, if you jumped
Yeah.
up and down, you could make one of those.
All right. No, that's interesting.
Smooth criminal walkways.
Make for me a
don't know what that is.
strength check. Beat DC 13.
I did
All right.
22.
Filge
Booyah.
rips off an entire side piece of the planks, which stays together. And this is now you have about 10 feet worth of planking. It's quite heavy and awkward to use. And you let one end of it dip down, which I might point, killing many snakes. And but it's still it's awkward and it's not close to where they fall, and you need a bit more space. So you probably need at least one other person on this chain of you and planks to reach Bobby.
Beyond me.
You're about 3 feet short.
How tall is Bobby?
To get to Bobby, including
right.
Bobby's height.
Well, I'm just gonna run down there and go and get Bobby and then run back up.
Oh, okay, it is a ramp. Yeah, the ramp goes
The
down
ramp.
into the low. It's not really a ramp. It's down. It's very like, just to be clear, it's fallen pretty much side on.
Oh right.
So
okay.
is it like there's like a ladder hanging
it's
from
like
the
dangling.
roof, basically?
But it's
Yeah.
it's not only dangling because you're holding it. So if you run down
No,
it,
yeah, okay, all right, fine.
You're anchoring this thing.
Okay, so I'm gonna.
unless you could look to see if there was something to anchor around.
Nah,
All right.
I'll get Baston to help.
Okay,
Baston.
I'll be back in a minute.
Baston. So next up is Bobby.
Or what about the snakes?
Yeah, they go after Bobby.
I already fell in once. Oh, okay.
Do you want to delay your action until the snakes go?
Yeah, I'd just like to see what they're gonna do.
Um,
if they're like chill,
Yep. Okay, the snakes lash out at you and bite you with 100 little cuts.
are they poisonous snakes?
Well,
Let's find
out. Great, it's multi-attack. They bite you twice, Bobby. They have tiny little snake idiot teeth, so they only do 3 hit points of damage. But now I need you to take for me 2 Constitution saving throws. First one, you passed.
It's an 11
The
and a
second one,
5.
you failed.
Okay.
So you are poisoned, which means that you've now got disadvantage on all attack rolls and ability checks, and now it is your go.
Okay.
So you're substantially weaker than you were before you delayed your action.
Okay, well, I had other number of plans besides the one that I'm going to just cast Disguise Self, because I assume not all the snakes, they're not sentient snakes.
Yep.
So I'm going to disguise myself as a Yuan-Ti, assuming that they have some dominion over, like,
Now,
snake
don't
people.
forget that the disguise self spell doesn't hold up to physical touch. So the snakes that are around you that are biting you aren't going to be fooled by this. A snake that sees you from a distance might be. Can snakes see? No, I mean like, aren't
Can
snakes
snakes-
tremor sense?
Yeah, but you can have tremor sense and also like not be blind.
Can you?
Yes.
Because like,
Like you know how
Daredevil
you can feel
has
this
tremor
table
sense.
move,
Hey, Dave,
but
they
you can
have
also
eyes.
see.
Do they?
Daredevil has eyes too. He can't see.
Yeah, you see Eden. I'm bringing Eden on board.
Daredevil sees like shapes and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tremor sense.
But no, Daredevil uses.
Why are we
echolocation.
arguing about this?
Sorry,
Snakes
yes.
can see.
All right, all right.
Snakes can absolutely
see.
see.
Ever heard snake sense?
Ever heard Snake Eyes? Like the fucking
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage.
Daredevil has eyes.
Romp.
Here's a question for the chat.
Wait, but
Can snakes see? Oh, there are. I am being mocked. All right.
Hey, mermaid.
Look,
Thank you.
It's fine. Look, chat doesn't get a vote on this. I'm
Use
the
radar
dungeon
like a bat.
master. I'm in control. The saddest thing I've said for a while.
I'd say, hey, mermaid, who just made fun of you, who also runs our wiki,
Yeah.
probably has more control than you do.
Probably. Yes.
Yeah, hey mermaid, can you put a thing in the wiki about whether or not snakes can see?
Yeah.
And also another section about things that Dave doesn't know about.
Things Dave doesn't know.
All right, as
Is
long
that
as-
wiki?
Dave knows more things about things that don't exist than things that do exist.
That is so true.
Very true.
That's.
We're all happy with the choices we've made in
Okay.
our lives.
So again, it's going to be hard to trick them. I'm just.
Well, if
before
I
you
move forward, hopefully the ones that can see me or would move as a matter of course of like feeling something move forward would clear out of the way. So the ones that.
So you're swimming in snakes at the moment.
Oh wait, so I'm not even touching the floor.
No.
like a ball pit.
It's snakes all the way down.
It's like
Snakes all the way down.
it's like Scrooge from DuckTales.
Imagine if Scrooge had invested heavily in snakes.
So I'm swimming and I like instead of like spurting out water or coins, aka Scrooge, I'm
Yucky.
shooting snakes out of my mouth.
Like a 19th century
Snake.
magician pulling snakes from his
that's,
stomach.
that's much more horrifying. Just vomiting snakes.
Am I back?
Yeah, I'm still delaying my turn because I have no. I'm just like
Okay, you got to.
dealing with
You
the
have
horror.
to when you delay an action, you have to delay it to
A
to
moment.
something you're
That's my
waiting
point.
for.
Can he just
Uh,
crush them with his hands? Can you try that?
You know what? Oh yeah. So I'm literally like on my
3
back.
feet, 3 feet away from you, you can see Filge has helpfully grabbed a huge piece of the planks and has dips them down,
Okay.
but it's just out of reach.
Yeah,
I'm,
why don't you
I'm gonna
move
grab the
forward 3
nearest
feet?
head. I'm gonna try and right myself.
Yep.
But at the same time, I'm gonna grab a snake by the head because there's all around me. I'm not gonna be touching snakes anyway, and I'm gonna like whip it around to snap its neck.
Oh.
But I'm grabbing the longest snake possible, which is
Okay, make a perception check for me.
You gonna Indiana Jones it?
Just tell me
He's
what
gonna
you
That's a
use a snake
16.
as a whip.
a 16 plus.
it's a 16-foot snake.
Okay, do you know what? Plus your intelligence, which is plus 3, 19. Yeah, okay. You find a 3-foot snake. Now quickly make for me, I would say this is a, what have you got? Do you have, we'll make it a dexterity check.
Okay.
DC 12. Beat its armor.
Because I feel like you need a break.
That's a 10.
Someone
plus.
is standing up for you in the chat.
Some snakes can literally see the world in 2 different ways. Thank you, Helen Friends.
I
They
would
use
say-
their eyes to create a visual image of the world around
That sounds
them.
like seeing.
Yeah, looks like a.
Be
Or
ni-
infrared.
I would like to draw attention to "Be nice to Dave," which is I think a mantra that we could all take to heart.
Thanks,
They have
Helen.
heat vision.
For your
There's another. Oh, look at that! Someone's just commented.
David.
Dave is a snake
Oh.
idiot.
You've been roasted.
Banning your phone. All right. Don't like this. This is an upsetting new development.
It's like realms of bullying.
You're getting bullied in real time on the
that
internet.
bully, that like
my
that
phone.
piece. I just want you to understand that sledge had to travel all the way to Seattle, and then come back to get me in the back of the head.
Via space.
Ben thinks the internet is in space. So that's 17,
Yeah, no. So you wring its neck. Congratulations. You now have a 3-foot whip.
and I'm whipping
And
snakes out of the way. As I
Oh,
move
hang
towards.
on. You're poisoned, friend. So you need to roll that
Oh,
one again.
Yeah.
Oh.
12
12 plus 3 is 15. Okay,
Uh,
it still makes
plus
it.
7 dexterity.
Plus 4. Sorry.
Wait, it says 7 here.
Oh no, that's your saving throw.
Saving throw.
So yeah, those are your saving throws. These are your actual. Have you been using these
We
the
are
whole time?
4 years into this.
Saving
Simon
throws.
is just learning the
So
difference
when
between
I
saving
said to
throw
you,
and
when
a-
I said to
any
you,
soft
make a
drink.
saving throw, a Constitution saving
You can-
throw for poison,
Oh, yeah?
that was here. But
Okay.
these
break,
ones
what
are
would
for
you
your
have?
basic rolls.
Oh, cool.
So you're
Whoops.
We're
year 4, people.
Think about what soft drink you want.
saving throw.
Hashtag WOTC partner. We have discovered what saving throws are.
So that's the saving throws are the little
Am I
ones in the
blushing? I feel like I'm
circle,
blushing.
Okay, no. Those are the.
The ones in the circle
No,
are the
those-
saving throws.
That's your
No,
stat.
I know. It's these ones here in this little box.
Oh, yeah.
What's the picture of Friezo mean?
Yeah.
Wait, so if I get acrobatics, I can add
Just
7
eat
to
your
that
character
to throw, right?
Yeah,
Is it my
because
turn
we
yet,
have
Dave?
proficiency in
Saving.
that.
All right, so that's proficiencies. So I
Okay,
have those to the-
Baston
Yeah.
arrives back in the room.
No, hang on. All right, so
Saving throws if you're trying to save someone. That's when you can use
By
it.
throwing them.
Oh yeah, for saving throws. No, I mixed up those.
we're
the
doing
skills
another
and the-
camp. We're doing another D&D camp.
Okay.
We're doing it before season 4. I'm going to make you all come over and play Dungeons and Dragons, not even for a show, but with me, so that we
camp
learn.
But then what's the
campaign.
point?
You managed to ring the snake. What?
Oh, no, nothing. It's so dumb. I just thought of campaign for my real friend's shit. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah, sorry.
No, finish it. Campaign for my real friends. Champagne for my sham friends.
I've never forced him to tell a joke he doesn't want to tell and regretted it. It's always the best thing to do. Yeah, even poisoned, and I won't make you reroll for because it doesn't affect your ability to see a long snake. You now have a whip. So, but the poison is taking hold of you. And it's,
Where was I bitten, just so I know?
right on the
On
dick.
the
just get in front of you there.
Please, on the chongy dongy.
Friezo,
Everyone
you are
hates-
up next.
Everyone
Alright.
hates that, by the way.
Yes. All right, Friezo is. So you said before, Dave, that when the board fell down, it crushed a lot of snakes.
Yes.
So I'm going to take some of those dead snakes.
What, 20 feet down.
But no, I'm in the pit. Remember?
Fashion a
You're
code.
going to swim to the snakes.
Yeah, I'm going to get the dead snakes.
I forgot
You
to
were
make you
stout
get
halfway?
attacked by snakes.
Well, yep,
Oh.
you
Too
forgot.
late now.
All
Moved
right,
on now.
fine. All right,
So
it's
I'm
okay.
going to take some of the dead snakes. I'm going to tie them together.
Yep.
Like a dead snake rope.
Okay, they were nowhere near you, so you're going to need to swim to the snakes first, which you can do. So I need you to make for me quickly a dexterity or acrobatics check, whichever is highest.
Wouldn't you be taking temp hit points from these snakes?
No, because I haven't killed any yet.
Oh.
Because they were killed by the other
You just
thing.
fix their backs.
Yes. Yeah. When Friezo heals someone, then does he lose temporary hit points? Okay. So what is it, acrobatics or dexterity?
Whichever is highest, I need you to beat 13 for
All
me.
right. Cool. That is a 12 plus 2 is 14.
Okay,
Nailed it.
You sort of snake your way through, and you managed to do it
Which
with.
stroke can I do if I'm swimming?
Which one did you want to do?
Butterfly.
The hardest stroke.
Always the showman.
What about
Yeah.
Friezo style?
Friezo style. Let's
Frieza style
drowning.
flailing, crying, and pissing
Yeah.
yourself.
Hang on, isn't it canon that Friezo can't swim?
Well, inspirationally, he rolled a 14, so he can.
In-
I thought he couldn't swim.
You're right.
But that's
he
liquid
can't
as opposed
swim.
to like.
I think we
I
found
think that's disadvantage.
If you're in a ball pit, you're not going to die. Like it's kind of like you've got things you can push against. You're not
Yeah.
literally swimming.
Do you know what I'm going to
It's not
say? Do you know what I'm going to say?
Isn't
Because I
Friezo
think
afraid of water?
I'm going to say that you
Oh,
a bit of
flashback to the anyway. Yep.
I'm going to say a little bit of adrenaline. This turn you're fine, but you are going to actually. You can't keep yourself afloat as easily as Bobby.
Okay, to be clear, this is not a liquid.
Yeah, exactly.
I
You don't
think
have
that
to,
would
like,
make it
tread
harder. I
snakes.
think that
No,
would.
you'd have to
Do
tread
you
water.
think? Do you think? Chat. Feel free to chime in. It would be easier to keep your head above water in a pit of snakes or a pit of water.
Well, there's
Definitely.
no water in a pit of snakes, so a pit of snakes.
No, definitely in a pit of snakes because they're solid and you can like stand up on top of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
And
think
you
if
can,
you
like, jump
and if
and
you
then-
move
So
fast,
what you're saying is that if this is a good opportunity for you to learn to swim because this is an easier environment.
See, the
Yes.
thing about
Snakes
the
are
hard-
denser than water. No, wait, that's family.
But the hard thing, the hard thing about swimming through snakes is they'll bite you,
But
right?
these snakes have not been biting me though because
Yeah.
they forgot.
Yeah, so which is a mistake I will not make again. All right, so you've swum forward for your move action, and now you are in range of the
Grabbing
dead
the dead
snakes.
snakes.
I would also argue that if this is a cold underground place that is cold and these are regular snakes, they will be sluggish and not moving very
Snakish.
fast.
These are magical snakes. Let's move on.
All right.
Oh, hang on.
No, I think that's actually fair. These are hibernating snakes, so they're little. I think that's built into the stats of them, but they're quite.
And maybe there's like an
sluggish.
underground heating system, like in
Sometimes-
fancy people's bathrooms.
At the bottom of the rock, I would say there is, but up at the top, Simon's quite right. They're
Sometimes
probably quite
when a
sluggish.
snake wakes up late after hibernating, it will give off female hormones, and all the boy snakes will be like, "Hey, babe," and come rub up on the lady, and then he'll get warm and be like, "Psych, I'm a dude." I just watched a lot of Dave Attenborough on the weekend.
All right.
Wow.
Wow. And the snake said, "Psych, I'm a dude."
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Wow, nature's amazing.
It's a beautiful
So
magical
you,
place.
Frieza's walked up to this plank, this
No.
lifeline that I've offered him.
Yep.
tied instead of climbing up it. He's just tying dead
No,
snakes
because I can't
together.
reach the plank. I thought there was a 3
Yeah,
foot
so
gap.
there's a gap between.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Did
You're
we,
just
did we
holding
try
it.
jumping?
Yeah,
no
3 foot.
one has tried jumping yet.
What's
You're
what-
taller than 3 foot.
Oh no, but am I taller than 3 foot of Bobby?
No, yeah, you can reach it.
Ah, all right. Well, I didn't realize. Okay.
So you're building the snake rope?
Well, I know I use my turn to
Sorry,
swim, so
Helen
it's
friend.
it
No, that
moves
was your
on.
move. You've still got an action.
I'm still in action. Oh right, yeah, then I'll jump.
Okay.
And I'll say, Bobby, grab my legs.
Quickly make for me a again acrobatics check. This time, I'm going to say DC 14.
I rolled a 5.
Okay.
Plus 2 is 7.
You swing and you miss and you land back in the
Am I
snakes.
back to rescue everyone yet?
Now it is your turn. And you
So-
run forward and you now have about 10 feet of linen.
That's great. So the bit of the gangplank is now like hanging down.
Yep.
And
is
I'm
Phil
holding
at
it
the
up.
bottom of
No,
it
I'm
or the
holding
top
it
of
up
it?
the top.
She's yeah.
Okay. So can I, if I go down the gangplank, that would make it really heavy and hard for Phil to hang on to, or would that help?
She would have to make a strength check, but yes, you could scurry down to the bottom.
So if I scurry
Why don't
down
you just jump?
down into the pit,
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. There's snakes down there.
All right. I thought you were going
Idiot.
down anyway.
But if I climb down, if you hang onto the thing, I climb down and tie a rope to that, then the boys down in the pit can climb the rope up, and I can help you hang onto it from the top.
Why don't
Is
you Tarzan swing down?
That is great, because then it would.
It's only 10 feet. It's 10 feet.
It's only 10 feet. So we need that. We need.
You have
the-
10 feet of planks. You have 10 feet of rope.
So I need to tie the rope to the bottom of the plank. Filge, hang on. And
All
I'm
right.
gonna go. I'm gonna climb down it.
Great. Make a strength check
Wait,
for me.
couldn't
Throw down
she
the.
just lift the plank up like this?
Oh yeah, that's absolutely. Okay, great. Let's do that then.
What are you doing?
So Filge, pull up the plank, and then we'll tie the rope.
So you're going to delay your action until Phil
Yes.
just go? Phil, just your go.
All right. I'm going to lift up the plank, like how he said.
You don't need to roll. You lift it up. So you've got. It just means he's going to have advantage. So you lift up the plank so that Bobby Baston can get around him, and
I'm gonna tie the rope on the bottom to the bottom of the planks, and then I'm gonna help Filge lower it back down.
Okay, great. One of you. So Phil, do you want to make it? Just quickly make for me. Just a.
Just put a dice in your mouth, Ben.
Ben,
Oh, I take my eye off you for 1 second.
with
It's a
advantage.
choking hazard.
Oh,
Ben's gonna
not
blow
very
his
good.
nose.
With
Oh,
advantage.
oh,
One
we
more
need
dice.
gumdrops.
With advantage, you get to roll another dice.
Yeah. Oh!
Well, that's your advantage dice.
And 14.
14. All right, great. You bring down your sort of. So it starts as rope and becomes plank, or the other way around?
we're holding onto the plank, and then the rope is tied onto the plank.
Great, and the rope slithers down and lands in a neat coil on Bobby's head. And the next one is Bobby.
I climb up the rope.
All right, quickly make a dexterity check for me, or use rope or something like that if you have it.
That's an 8.
With disadvantage.
With what is I'm using dexterity +4, so it's a 12.
Oh, so 12 and once more because you have disadvantage.
Oh, okay.
The chair I am.
Oh, actually,
currently
no. Before
sitting
you do
in
that, make a
is the
Constitution
most
save. See if you can
uncomfortable
beat
chair I've
beat
ever
the
sat in
poison.
my life.
That's a 16.
16. You beat the poison,
Okay.
so that means it works. And you scurry up the rope, and you're out of the pit. And then the next one is.
And I got a snake.
And you got a snake. The next one is the snakes, which attack Friezo.
No.
And they roll one of them rolls a 1.
Ooh.
So
Does
and
it
then
become my
all
pet?
3,000 more rolls to
I
go.
think- no, it's just multi-attack, just 2. And a 7. Okay, they both miss you.
Aha, I'm the king of snakes.
Wait, what's your
Yeah,
dexterity?
I believe that
Uh,
does mean you are the king of snakes.
15.
Yeah, you may. Okay, they
So
miss
you went into
the
a
queen
pit
of
of
snakes.
snakes and escaped completely
Quadruped android
unscathed.
Yeah. In fact, if anything,
amazing.
Friezo was beat. Friezo was hurt less than Bobby, despite doing much stupider things. So you come out and you have an improvised. Bobby, you have an improvised whip, which
Yes.
is a snake. That counts as an improvised weapon. So
Yeah.
it just means you have to use disadvantage to use it.
Okay.
But it's a weapon.
Nice.
And you
Running
have
down the 1 times a 3
you have
foot
about
snake.
5 feet worth of snakes, which I guess these are dead, and I guess that's just something that you get to keep.
Just
Snake
snake rope.
rope. Okay, so I'm now going to, wearing the bolero and the cummerbund, I'm going to wrap the
Oh no.
snakes around my my loins to cover my dongus.
Wait,
Can
what,
I just say
what
that-
item of clothing does that resemble?
Like
Like
rope underwear.
All right, so you're not making it like a grass skirt of
It's just,
snakes.
it's
No, no,
it's a
no.
crotchless snake G-string.
No, it's it's like
A crotch-full snake G-string.
Yeah, it's a crotch-full snake.
It's a G-string.
That is awful.
Yeah. what
Also,
we've
I'm just
done
gonna
there is
say-
awful.
I want to cover the dongus with what I've got.
If
Make
a
it a
snake person,
skirt,
if a
it's
snake
nicer.
person sees us, which is
They're gonna be
likely,
so
they're gonna be
cross.
so cross.
Is that my bed?
All right, fine. I'll
Is a
I'll
fundashi-
make the snakes into a grass skirt, a snake skirt. So now,
I don't think the snake's going to be any less cross about that.
well, now
I think it's more tasteful.
yeah, now there's going to be like 5 snakes hanging in front of my dongus.
Well,
Wait,
Become
heads
the
down or
dongus.
heads up?
so it'll be like.
Heads down. Heads down.
What about fangs?
But people will look at all the snakes hanging by the dongus and accidentally see your dongus amongst the
I
snakes.
assume it's a real ugly snake.
You should definitely paint your dongus to look like a snake.
Hiding in plain sight. Yeah. You want to hide a
Frieza cuts off his dongus. Doesn't have to worry about any of this.
You want to hide a leaf? Hide it in a forest. You want to hide a dongus? Snake grass skirt.
Oh, this is such a dumb one.
No, I'm going to make my original plan. My original plan is wrapping the snakes, coiling the snakes in a sort of underwear fashion.
Someone pointed out that you have a tiny pointy dick. So
Oh, yeah.
I was going to
Thanks,
remember
Chad.
if his dick was pierced or not. But I think
Chad
that's
is
his
great. Yeah, it
nipples.
has a weird piercing at the top.
Anyway, look, the important thing
No, he
is
has nipple piercings. He
the
doesn't have
important
a
thing is
genital
Frieza's modesty is covered now.
Yeah,
By
totally.
snakes.
Is it? Is it? All right. And now, however, the problem still remains that
How thin are these snakes? Sorry, just so I know.
uh,
What's the?
thin enough that you could use them like a whip. So quite thin.
But, so like what we're talking about?
No, about like green tree snakes. So even smaller than that. Yeah.
Oh, just little
So
boys.
like a what? Like a nickel?
The same.
Yeah, like a nickel, like a D20's width.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit like a big D20's width. So a big part of the planks is now missing, and you can't help but feel that you've made quite a bit of noise, and that people could be there at any moment. And there's still
Oh
the
no,
matter.
we did this silently.
There's still the matter of the 20-foot pit to traverse.
and which we've now broken, so we can't get to the far side of it. Is that right?
No, well, you still have this kind of half rope, half plank, 20-foot thing. And there is there's both sides. You ripped off one side, Filge, so
Yeah.
there is still the other side of the planks.
Okay. Well, let's
And
go
will
around
it,
the other
it
side.
won't reach across if I.
No, but it's
Flatten
10
it down?
feet, so yeah, and it's 20 feet. It's got to cover.
All right. Okay.
Are there corners? Can we traverse across corners?
Yeah,
Are there, like-
yeah. Actually, if you used it twice, you could probably you could hypotenuse that bad boy.
Oh, yeah, like,
Hypotenuse babies.
That's cool. I'll give you all advantage if you do that.
Okay.
In getting
Alright.
across.
So we go into the door on the far side.
Yep. So everybody roll quickly for me. Just make a dexterity or acrobatics, whatever's highest. 20.
Oh, 20. I'm so good.
Just gotta beat 10.
12
Correct. Yep, I do it.
and
And I got
so we have advantage,
7.
right?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh,
12.
advantage?
13.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right, great. Everybody makes their way across, and ignoring what was obviously a great scene with Justin that nobody was interested in, you make your way to the far side, and you can see a long corridor, quite long, about 60 feet long, in fact. And it's bisected with other corridors at regular intervals. There's about 3 other corridors leading off it.
Okay.
Ooh.
So we can go to the mouth of these corridors and just sort of see what we can see
Yep.
at each of them?
Yep. So about 10 feet in, you see.
Any of them going sloping up?
That's a good question, actually. The one to your right, 10 feet in, there's one branching off on each side. The one to your right is going further down again, and the one to your left is going upwards.
So let's have a quick dragon huddle. What are we trying to do here? Are we trying to get out?
Great
or are we
question.
trying to,
Get
or are
out.
we trying
Great
to,
question.
or are we trying to get low so we can find whatever the power source is? Presumably, so it's always at the bottom of the.
You have lost your puzzle cubes, and you've lost your equipment, so that's something to bear in mind.
I see.
Oh,
Mind you, your equipment. Oh no, you had some good magic items at this point,
yeah,
didn't you?
the name sort of Sergei Eisenstein.
Sure.
Endurovich?
Endurovich,
I
the same.
remember it.
So we want to get our stuff back?
No, Von Zarovich.
Let's
Zarovich,
get
yeah,
new
right.
stuff, guys.
No, I've
Don't
got good
let
stuff.
possessions weigh us down.
Does it bring you joy?
Yeah.
If not, throw it away.
Go.
Do a snake pit.
Okay, but
We've
so
got pots now, guys. We don't need that stuff.
but when we got captured, they put all the puzzle cubes and it like opened up the door into the secret place, right?
Yep.
But then they took
That's
us
correct.
to a place other than that.
And they took the puzzle cubes off the wall.
So there's puzzle cubes somewhere because we want to get into the secret place so we can rescue the princess who's trapped in the stones.
She needs the skull chalice and Princess Moaxanare,
'Cause she's
child
in
of the Great
carbonite.
Maze. And she's a kind of carbonite. And and also you believe that there's magic and fabulous wealth down there.
Von Zarovich.
Fabulous.
So we
Remember.
basically want to get up and out, and if we pass a storeroom, like a mud room that has our stuff in it on the way out, then
So we'll take the up way.
I think we should take the up way. That's
I
my
think
vote.
we should take the down way because that's where all the treasure people would keep all the precious
Weren't you
stuff
just
down
saying
below.
you didn't want possessions?
I mean, in some
Yeah.
in some
Well, it
ways
was
the
very
pit,
convincing.
in some ways the snake pit was the ultimate down way.
What-
You didn't take that.
But also the down way that we want to go is somewhere else. It's not where we are.
You're right. Okay, fine.
What does it
You
sm-
can listen in. You can sneak down these corridors. You
I
don't need to make this decision
I
blind.
smell it at both ones. What would they smell like?
Oh, make a perception check for me.
Do I have a good sense of smell? I think I would.
You use it a lot, so I think you would. You practiced it.
12
Yep.
Which
plus
attribute
1,
is
13.
All
What do I
right.
smell.
To the right, you could smell sort of the bitter, iron, coppery smell of blood very, very strongly. To the left, you can smell something that seems quite exotic, like unguents and compounds, like alchemical supplies.
Like it's probably like a massage parlor or something.
That one can only assume that nestled between the rookery, the hydra den, and the snake pit is the Fane of the Night Serpent's massage parlor.
All those joints, you want to work them out
We've
if
had
you're a
some-
snake.
I don't want to stop down too much, but we have had some really great suggestions of what you guys could do.
But that's cheating.
Yeah.
So first of all, Hey Mermaid has added snakes to the wiki.
Thank you.
I can only assume I come off great.
You could capture an enemy and find out where your stuff is.
Oh, look at this. These people play Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that's what you could do.
Yeah.
Or you
I'm
could just
gonna
go to the
get a-
massage.
I'm gonna go get a massage.
Will we get hit
Why
points
don't
back
you
if we get
just-
massages?
Absolutely.
Excuse me, Bobby, may have an idea. Why don't you make yourself Snake Man again and like go and suss it out?
Oh,
You
that's
go
a
in
good
there
idea.
first.
We can do that. Well, we'll wait until we know what's going on.
So
W,
towards the
that
massage
spell
parlor.
lasts for an hour, and it's much less effective if someone sees you cast it.
Sure. And I didn't.
We'll do it
I actually
now.
didn't end up casting.
No,
it.
you
Do
decided
it now
not
while
to.
no one looking.
Yeah, well, and while Bobby's casting that spell, I'm going to rest and get my spell slots back.
So you guys
Okay, well, I'll wait till Friezo finishes resting before casting the spell.
we
which
should-
I'll
you
do.
are in a highway.
Corridor. Not in a hallway.
All right, I'm gonna. So are any of these like little rooms we can duck into?
Well, the as I said, on this way you can smell alchemical compounds. On this way you can smell quite a lot of blood, and there's another corridor up further to the west.
Can we pick around
Neither
the
of those
corner?
smells are great.
No, I'm gonna go to I'm gonna go down the corridor. I'm taking charge of this
To
situation.
the blood
All
one?
right, great.
No,
So-
no,
Or
not
further
the
on?
blood, not the
Okay.
copper, not the chemicals.
Okay.
Straight.
on.
All right, so the next corridor, and this is, as I said, one is straight west, and the next one is branches off to the southwest, and you can see. Make a perception check for me. Are you smelling as well?
Yes, that's 18 plus my perception, so it's probably 20 or something. 19. Oh, 20, yeah.
You can smell sort of the musky smell of unwashed humans and humanoids.
That's probably
Ah.
back to slave pit.
Yes. Let's keep going.
Back towards the slave pit?
Don't we want
There's a
to
fork in the road. One of them smells like dirty,
humans?
and then the other one we don't know yet.
What's the other one smell like?
Give the other one a whiff.
All right,
Um,
I'll give the other one a whiff.
I can't believe we walked past a massage
Just
parlor.
go. Just
17
go.
plus 2 is
Don't-
19. 19. What's the other one whiff like?
So you got 19. Okay, I guess the smell. You know what? This book is great, and it does
Doesn't
not
cover smell?
It doesn't tell you what all the rooms smell like. I'm working on
Yeah,
the fly
Tito,
here.
yeah, Greg.
Okay.
Scratch and sniff version. Copyright. You have to buy it off us.
All right, Gavin.
It actually smells. What did you roll?
19. 17 plus 2 is 19.
Okay, this smells a little cleaner. It's sloping upwards, and the air here feels less still. So it's possible that there is either windows, doors, or in some way connections to the outside world this
All
way.
right, I'm going up. I'm taking this breezy path then.
Okay, well, why don't I cast disguise self,
Yeah.
so I can always say that I'm
You auntie.
your auntie and that I'm taking these prisoners somewhere.
Okay, so
Great idea.
all right, you all have manacles
So
still?
is that like a hologram, or does he actually change?
No, that's what I meant when I said
Yeah.
it doesn't fool people physically.
So it's
Oh,
so
if they
Bobby's just
touch
like
you.
walking along, but he's got like an outer shell that.
Yeah.
As long as nobody touches me.
So he's an arcane trickster, which means that he's always was good at disguises, but as he's gotten higher level, there's something that it magically augments them and makes them seem even better.
I wanna duck down towards the massage parlor just real quick.
All right, so Baston breaks off as we split the party.
All right, no, let's not do that. Let's follow Baston then.
All
Because
right.
we know the fresh way. I just want to check it out and then we can take
Okay,
the fresh
go,
way.
go.
There
Okay.
might be our stuff there.
How are you going to open the door?
well, why don't I do it
Yeah, get Simon to do it.
as a Yuanti?
All right, Simon.
And just to be clear, the Yuanti that I'm being is human torso, snake body.
Yep.
I'm
Allison.
I'm Allison. just so that people will.
Hating Malice and Ashley. I'm sorry. Sorry, go on.
That is a very niche Australian reference.
Hating Malice and Ashley.
I need to do something about this chair.
Yeah,
no one else can hear it.
Talk amongst yourself.
Should we just keep playing Dungeons and Dragons?
yeah.
Or?
Yep.
It's just
I'm
very
intrigued.
distracting.
Very distracting.
Okay, go on.
So I will move my sort of around the corner. So
All right, so you're pushing the door open, which again is a simple levered structure of stone with 2 hinges that allows it to open and close.
Okay. That makes sense.
Wait,
you-
Version of a
the
door.
door is made of stone.
yeah, these are sort of thin slabs of stone.
Okay. Yep.
Actually, stone on one side and it's stone cladding on wood.
Okay.
And as you push it open, you can see what seems to be a sort of a distillery, an area where there's sort of compounds and there's benches, and there is one old, also a Malison, up against a bench who has a sort of metal band around his head and a kind of strange series of little hinged glasses. Sort of, like...
Monocle boys.
Yeah, bifocals, who is working with a mortar and pestle, surrounded by shelves full of ceramic pots and glass jars. And what is so funny?
Look, pestle.
It's pestle.
Oh, it's pestle.
I
What is-
didn't
We
bring
didn't
it
say
up.
What
anything.
did I
We didn't
say?
say
What did I
anything.
say?
You said
So
pestle.
they all made this face.
Did you say it's... He said it's pestle, and then you said it's
No,
pestle.
No. You said
It's
pestle.
pestle.
It's
It's pestle.
It is pestle.
It
It's a silent
is
C.
not.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Oh,
god.
boy.
David.
You have been embarrassing yourself
You-
in Bed Bath and Beyond for so long.
It's a mortar and pestle.
Yeah, this is why.
Yeah.
This is why Nigella doesn't
sounds-
The
return your
vessel
calls.
with the pestle has the pearl with the poison. The flagon with the dragon has the brew that is true.
What's happening?
What, did Eden have a stroke?
Eden's
The court
dying.
jester. You don't know the court jester? Danny Kaye? Sorry, I'm old.
Okay.
Look,
Danny Kaye?
it's just hit the chat. Yes.
All right, it's a mortar and pestle. It's a mortar and pestle. And because everything's silent now, apparently.
Well, it doesn't mean you have to give up your favorite sport of wrestling.
This is a really good trestle tape.
Oh, shut up!
Okay.
The Malison attacks.
Dragon!
No! Okay, so does he notice Bobby come in?
Yes, he does, and he looks up and he says, "Yes."
I've been sent to. This is my voice.
Is that South African?
No, it's just
Deep.
deep.
You've got to do it with a
It's
hiss to be
authoritative.
convincing.
No, I don't
Oh,
have a
good.
snake mouth. I
Oh,
have
you got a boy
human
face.
head.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, in the US, they say
They do not
Don't
say that.
try and
Pestle.
help him out.
Japan, George, you're not even in the US.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Americans say
you're
everything
clearly
wrong
in
anyway.
Japan,
In the
slash
future.
in the future.
They also say aluminum, which is incorrect as
Actually,
well.
there's dual spellings of that based on its early.
Is that a-
Sorry, let's not go.
Is that a
into
Greg Tito emoji?
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
You know, he looks a bit like Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah, well,
in that
With shorter
emoji.
hair.
do you
In
know
that
that?
emoji.
Did you know that Greg Tito understudies the role of Alexander Hamilton
Does he?
in the musical Hamilton?
Yeah.
My word. How about that? All right.
So Simon was continuing
Yes.
with.
Sorry. Hello. I've been sent to. I've been sent. I've been sent to see whether you're finished.
Finished? Well, yes, of course. Well, I finished one batch and working on another. Tip top. Haha.
Well, hand it over then.
Make a bluff check for me. The disguise
That's
will
a
give you.
dragon, which means a 20, baby.
Oh, your third 20 in
Bobby
a
Tell him
row.
to drink the
Fingers.
poison. Tell him to drink the poison.
Okay, he's buying this hook, line, and sinker.
Yes, well, of course, yes. I didn't think you were coming for another day or so. But
Another day? Do you think we'll have all the time in the world?
No, of course not. I was obviously misinformed. And he takes out an earthen jar, sort
Yep.
of, and says, "Well, this is the first batch."
And it's stop it in wax, and he gives it, and it slushes as it hands over to you.
And
as you make care not to let your fingers touch.
Yeah, I say, put it on the table.
Oh, yes, of course, yes. And he puts it on the table, and he's like, and the next batch will be ready by sunup.
Find out what it does. Sorry, that was Phil's
Phil's whispering
whispering.
at the door.
Alex.
What was that?
None of your business.
Wind.
Did she just say wind? Are they behind the door?
They're behind the door,
Oh, okay.
presumably. You're just going to give this to me without instructions? This vile concoction that you brew here?
No, of course. I would have thought that you would have already been briefed, though.
I don't get briefed.
You get
I get even.
He's very terrified.
He
now.
goes on to explain that the jar is full of a poison.
Well done. That was
Thank you,
incredibly
milked.
No. Yeah, okay.
Milked from the snake pit.
Mm-hmm.
And, and
Also not very poisonous then.
well, it's
Is Bobby still
concentrated.
poisoned also?
No, he beat it off.
Well,
Because I was beat on the dick.
I'm so upset. I did that.
I can't wait till the chat gets that in about 15 seconds.
As soon as I said that, I was like, no.
Oh my word. So can you explain what the poison does? If you're the poison expert all of a sudden?
If you don't tell us in 5 seconds, Ben gets to decide.
Okay, no. This is poison that is distilled from the night adder, which is a particularly virulent strain of snake poison, which is known to cause not just poisoning but paralysis in the user within about 12 seconds.
Okay.
At contact or drink it. Anything you do with this.
Do you want to have a resistance to poison because they're a little bit snake?
Oh,
Yeah, in case they bite their tongue.
They have like immunity to poisons.
Oh, right.
But only certain types of Yuan-Ti. Purebloods don't, for example.
Purebloods don't have
Yes.
immunity.
Yep. And Malicens have a resistance, and the Broodguard do. They have full immunity.
I see.
Can't remember. Someone draw a chart.
So he's
and
just
send it to
described-
us.
The more they look like a lizard, the more immune they are.
Okay.
Got it.
Right,
Thank
okay.
you.
So he's just basically said this is poison. Is it like
Poison with paralysis.
with paralysis?
This batch is especially good. 12 seconds to effect.
And in regards to the plan, in your professional opinion, if I were to ask, what would be the best way to use this?
And
To instigate, to
okay, so he
Quick minutes
thinks.
to the point.
So the,
Question, whispers Felch.
so the chemist thinks this is a trick. Like he thinks that this is a test. of his
He rolled a
knowledge.
20, so yeah, you are so on board.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying that like
He looks like your brother.
yeah. He does not presume. He's like, I wouldn't presume to say anything other than I'm a mere cog in the plan, and the execution of the plan is for those wiser and more pure than I.
I did not get to where I am today by not listening to the cogs. Cogs are what make up machines. And while I loathe the machines and this metaphor in turn,
It's getting away
the
from
truth
you.
holds. I would not be a good leader if I did not ask your true opinion.
Okay, what should he?
What was the question?
It's like the
How
best.
to best administer the poison.
Yeah.
Where does the poison fit into the grand plan?
Apply it on a spear, a javelin, a sword, the slightest nick on it. Any type of bladed weapon, if it gets into the bloodstream, should render the enemies of Dendar paralyzed and thus incapacitated.
And to your knowledge,
Within a
none
few
of
breaths.
none of the enemies have any resistance or any particular reactions to this that we should know about in advance.
Well, this is obviously for use against those incursions of mercenaries up in the city. This is so that we might take back Omu, such as it can be worked into
Dave's brain stopping. Dave's brain slowing down.
plans. Who are you?
Who am I? Your worst nightmare. That was the worst answer I've ever heard.
Let's
You get
kill
back
him.
to the second batch, and I want this not before sundown. I want it 2 hours before sundown.
Ooh.
Let's kill him.
Pestle, 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 pestle.
You're
And
not gonna kill him?
Wait, I'll say one thing. Or I could get you more time. Do you need more time?
Well, of course, more time or more labor would always help. I mean, if you don't.
But I will say this: that asking him for something and sort of threatening like this, you detect a slight change, as if he's now not automatically buying everything you say, which means that you may have to, if you push him too far, make another bluff check soon.
Okay. I have a need.
He looks very uncomfortable.
And I think it is in your wheelhouse, your professional wheelhouse.
Go on.
I'm looking for a way to. Wait, what?
Ben's got a dice in his ear. It's really off-putting.
Okay, guys, sorry, we're just going to stop there. Oh, Ben, that is a really small, pointy one.
Yeah, that's not safe.
Ben, if we had to take you to a hospital, Ben, what's the dumbest
wrong
thing you
with
ever?
you?
What's the dumbest thing you ever?
Dragon
stuck
Mag
in-
headline: Professional D&D player dies.
What was the first line of your brother's speech at your wedding?
I've thought this already and not said it out loud.
When my little brother said, I'm not very good at making speeches, but I was told to open with a joke, maybe something embarrassing. So when Ben was 5, he put a marble in his bum hole.
And what's great is that everybody laughed, but Ben's mum.
No,
which
yeah,
I couldn't
Ben
hear
was little. Yeah, well, yeah.
Ben was little. And Ben's mum, I think, was correcting his brother and made that signal of 4, but it did look like she was saying he stuck 4 marbles up his bum.
So go on. Continue propositioning him.
You know what?
You have a need. What is your need?
You know that the political factions within this organization,
Yes, of course.
and with the sudden intrusion of humans, such as the warlock Justin, have sullied the keen purity of our family.
Well, there are those who would agree with you.
Is there
He's racist.
something else that you could direct me towards that would maybe help dispatch someone such as this?
What do you reckon?
That is very clever. You're playing off this very natural sort of political nature of the UNT, and the Justin thing is a sticking point for these sort of they are racial supremacists. So make with advantage.
That's a 3.
No, with advantage.
Oh, with advantage. Okay. That's an 8.
No, it's a 9.
Oh, is it? I have terrible vision.
Yeah. Which is it's enough for this. So
What was your
9 plus.
9 plus.
What's your charismas?
Oh, so I've got deception of +6.
Yeah, so that
you
brings you
find
to
it.
15.
Yeah, okay.
And it's only just enough, but it's enough. And so he looks at you, cocks his head to the side, and in a sort of habitually spits his tongue out a few times as he's thinking, and then he says, "I couldn't agree more, brother. This is a dangerous time. Raznasi is barely your auntie, and already he brings more filthy humans with him. This is not Dendar's will, and this is not our way."
This is like House of Cards.
"I know of one who plans to rid us of not just Justin, but Raznasi as well. And she is always on the lookout for like-minded Yuan-Ti. I can take you to her if you are interested." So you've actually stumbled on something that is happening in the Fane. But we would have to leave immediately.
I hear this,
Yeah, you're all outside the door.
and I'm gonna try and sneak away. So that otherwise,
Yeah.
if when he comes out,
Oh,
he'll be
if they go with them, yeah.
Mama didn't raise no fool.
So I'm gonna try and sneak.
Make
down
all
the
of you
hall.
all of you make dexterity checks for me.
Dexterity?
Yep, just
10 is what I
9.
rolled.
9 plus you. Did you
Yeah, included.
All right. You suddenly
stealth?
there's a little noise outside the room, just a little noise, and he goes, "Wait, did you hear something?"
Yes. What's that? Let me just
throwing
check.
us under the bus.
And I go, the door is like ajar, presumably, because I haven't shut it behind me, and they're listening. And so I stick my head around the corner, and I'm like, "Hello? Come forth." And I come back and be like, "Huh?
All right.
Nothing."
You've given them enough time by buying that they're all away, and so he comes to check. He checks as well, and he pushes the door wide. But by now, the corridor is empty. But I need you all very quickly on the count of 3 to tell me if you turned left. I want you to say left, forward, or right, because you can't talk, and I want to know which way you guys all went. So 1, 2, 3.
Right.
Oh, God.
Filge goes back to the snake pit. You guys have crept to the other side of the corridor, and the and so the Yuan-Ti, whose name is Drisak, takes
Drazik?
Drisak.
He's got a little eyebrow ring.
Yeah.
Slithers around and
Yes.
takes you to a right past the corridor, and by some miracle doesn't spot Filge just around the
And
corner.
can I have taken the poison without him seeing me do it?
Oh
so
no,
that it's on my person?
you can take it. Like he left it for you.
Okay, so I can carry it in disguised person, and it looks
Yes.
just like I'm carrying it.
It's only if someone touches
Okay,
your feet, they would feel that there were 2 feet.
Gotcha.
And he takes you around through into a vast cathedral area with a balcony with a huge speaking podium, 5 gargoyles in the shape of huge sort of statues of Malisons, and a gigantic stone cauldron full of blood, which is at the moment empty. And then he takes you around.
Wait, it's full of blood, but it's empty.
No, empty of people.
Oh, right. Sorry.
This
And
is the blood room.
this was the room that you could smell that smelled so powerfully
If
of
you
blood.
smelt blood, that's from here.
From the wetting.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a nice day for a
Blood wedding.
And then he takes you up a ramp, and then he brings you into a room that is filled with sort of a heavy incense that makes you already your eyes start to grow a little bit heavy as if you want to sleep. It's sort of cloying and sickly sweet, and there are incense burners, and there are sort of cushions laid out, and there is a heavy series of, when I say this sounds like I made a mistake again, but there is a bunch of light curtains that together, there's so many of them, they sort of form a kind of heavy opening. Am I making
The light curtains are making a heavy opening?
There's so many of these light curtains you can't see through, is my point.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
And there is, beyond that, you can see a figure who is sitting cross-legged in a sort of supplicating pose. And Trisac says, "Fenthaza, I found another one."
Have we met Fenthaza yet?
Yes.
Can you remember what she sounded like?
No. So Fenthaza was one. She only saw you guys from a distance.
Is she the cakes lady?
And she was like, "I like you guys," and then we were like, "Bye."
Yep, that's
yeah,
right.
she's the one who wants to fuck us. Yep. I'm on board.
Do you remember what she sounded like?
You've only got one
Yeah.
posh lady voice.
So she is
it's that one.
she is a pure. To be clear, she is a pure blood. So she looks almost completely human. She's sort of strikingly beautiful, dark ebony sort of skin, and has a tendency to wear sort of beautiful yellow silks. So she really
the more
stands
human
out.
somebody is, the more pure blood they are? Wait.
The pure bloods are a breed that the Yuan-Ti have bred to infiltrate mankind.
Right. Oh, I gotcha.
Oh.
That makes sense.
And she says, "Send him in," and with a hand opens the curtains, allowing even more of the heavy, thick, cloying incense to enter the room, making you feel dizzy as you can see beyond, where there's a central fire pit where she is burning incense sticks.
Welcome. Did you see the blood room?
Most impressive.
Yes. Hard to get a good blood room built.
So the chat said it's the lady with the cakes from last episode. What was the cakes?
Because remember, we were like, oh, she wants to fuck us, and then we were like, cut to her in her room, and she's sitting there with some nice cakes, and
That's
she was
right.
like, oh, I wonder when they're gonna be here.
Yes, it is Fenthaza the cake lady.
Yeah,
Sorry, yes.
yeah.
Can we? So what did we do? I wanted to sneak after them.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. Well, otherwise, what are we gonna do? Just stand in a hallway like?
No.
idiots?
Well, I'll cut back to you guys now. So they have left, and they've just going through the fane. You ducked into that southwest corridor that smelled a little bit more like the slaves, and it's got a big, thick wooden door that's locked at the end of it. And Filge, you're in the snake room, but you can probably duck through if you want afterwards.
Yeah, I'm gonna come in. I'll join up with the guys again.
All right, so you sneak through. That's fine. And you guys are now all standing near that locked door.
So do we want to go through the locked door, or do we want to follow Bobby to talk to the snake lady, or do we just want to escape and leave him?
I think we want to
I
not
probably
split
shouldn't be
apart. We
looking
want to
at
meet up with Simon again. Or we want to meet up with Bobby again. But I think we need I'm useless unless we can rest for 15 minutes so I can get my spells.
Well,
So
why
it
don't
seems-
you rest in the lab, because he just took the old guy just
That's
left.
a great idea.
Yeah,
See
so
what's
I'm
in
gonna
the
sneak
lab.
back to the lab and I'll meet up with you guys later.
All right.
I'll send Bush out. To
So
find
you're going to go into the distillery in the lab.
Yeah.
And so you guys need about 5 minutes. So what do you want to do?
What do you want to do, Filch?
Want to see if this key opens this door?
Okay.
All right. You try the key in the door. It fits perfectly, and with a click, the mechanism disengages.
Ooh.
Should we sneak down and have a look what's in
Yeah,
here?
let's have a little.
It's
Let's
probably
do a
the
recce.
slave boys. Yep.
Okay, as you walk through the room, you actually recognize it. You were brought through here once before. This is the storerooms that were just ahead of the slave grottos. And
Look for our
there
stuffs.
is another locked door at the far end of it, which you know leads into the grotto. And neatly stacked are boxes full of the possessions of the slaves.
Yes.
Yes. I get my stuff.
Cool. You find your 2 magical swords. What did you have?
All of
you
tons
find
of good stuff.
You find all your stuff. You find
And
all
in
the
your head,
Friezo stuff.
You hear the imagined voice of Bobby Pancakes going, "Get me something good."
Yeah, is there any other good stuff there?
So I've got my maul and my javelin back.
Actually, this is fun. Who can remember what Bobby's stuff looks like?
Oh, Bobby had probably a small dagger.
Yeah, you find a dagger.
And like a short bow?
Yep, you find a short bow.
But surely it's like they've like neatly like
No,
bundled it
they've
together
actually sort it by what
and
it is.
they've like
But also,
labeled
what would
it.
Bobby like? That's the kind of real.
Yeah, they've been inventorying inventorying
Is
stuff.
there
So
the
they don't
poison-
sort it by who they got it
Did he
from.
lose that poison dagger?
Yeah.
I threw it at a
Any
frog.
magic? Oh, I'm gonna go rumble around in the magical items box.
Yeah,
Dave?
there is a. You see,
Scrolled magical
There's
items
lost
on the
and
side.
found and magical.
most of the magical items, obviously, that have been once they get, there's a preliminary sort of search of the equipment, and then they bring down a magic user who takes the magic items away. But they haven't yet brought one through for your stuff. So all of your magic items are still there, including one that you didn't know about.
I had an immovable rod. Do I still have?
Oh
it?
yeah, so you did know about it. Yeah, you have Friezo's immovable rod.
Yes.
And is Friezo's spellbook there?
Friezo's spellbook is still there.
Okay, so I'll grab Friezo's stuff.
Yep.
2.
Excellent. All right, you have all of that stuff, and
I'm gonna do a lucky dip for Bobby.
Yes.
okay.
I'm gonna stick my hand in a box and rumble around.
It would okay.
Yep. All right. Great. Roll.
Do I get any added points for lucky dip?
No.
What's your lucky dip rating?
What's my lucky dip? Luck?
You don't have a luck.
Okay, 17.
17. The dice is the luck. So you rolled a 17. All right. You find a hand crossbow, actually,
Ooh.
and a
Oh, that's
sleeve
cool.
quiver. So it's got a kind of quiver that obviously is slimline and designed to sit underneath a sleeve.
Oh, he'll like that. He loves
And
sneaky stuff.
It has 10 quarrels in it, and it is a kind of mechanical design. And actually, it looks a little bit beyond you, Filge, to work out how to operate, but you get the sense that Bobby would probably lose his little mind over it.
Bobby gonna love these pots.
All right, about 5 minutes pass, and you can feel magical energies flow back into you, Friezo. But meanwhile, in Fenthaza's den, she has poured a small saucer of tea and pushes it towards you.
And can I pick it up in character?
Yeah.
Or-
It's
okay.
just you just don't
You've
want them
got
to touch
hands.
you.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Do have some tea.
Thank you.
So
Do you drink it?
I hold it in my hands, like warming it as if like just enjoying the warmth of it. And I take a big sniff. Do I smell anything when I smell it?
It smells of, like everything here, pungently, it smells of incense.
Okay.
So
What kind of stench are they trying to cover with all this incense?
pot?
Slavery.
it's weed. It's absolutely weed. When I lived in New York, there was the people in our apartment building down below, like on the bottom floor. So you walk past their door every single time, and they were really into smoking weed, but they felt the need to cover it with incense.
Was it an apartment full of 15-year-olds?
Yeah, well, this is the thing. Like, at one point, after we'd been there for like 6 months, Anya actually knocked on their door and was like, "Guys, I love the smell of weed. I like the smell of incense. Those two things together, absolutely not. Like, pick one. I don't care. No one's calling the cops. And also, even if we were, you are not fooling anyone."
And they look up from their like homemade lab and they're like, "Oh, our incense-flavored weed business."
So she goes, "Drazik tells me that you might be sympathetic to the cause."
Yes, Drysack has brought me here.
That is my name, thank you.
It's true that the purity of the Yuan-Ti is being corrupted. Rasnasi was an essential step, but a step nonetheless. Now, I fear that perhaps his usefulness has come to an end.
It seems he is building his numbers by bringing the warlock Justin aboard.
Yes.
Has the ceremony proceeded?
Do you know, it just occurs to me. Who are you? Did I see you at the induction?
Dry Sack says, he's from the
It just occurs to me that Simon never explained to Jurassic who it was.
We didn't have to, 'cause it's so intimidating.
Dry Sack literally goes, he's from the he upstairs with the poison. No, who are you? Sorry.
Let's just say I'm with Special Ops in charge of poisoning
Go
our
deeper!
enemies.
Build the web of lies!
Make a bluff check.
That's a 3 plus 7.
Okay.
Oh, no!
Oh, no.
No, wait, was that your saving throw?
No,
You're
it's
looking at
3
the
plus
right
6,
number?
actually. It's a
Yeah.
9.
3 plus
Yeah.
6. Fenthaza
even
looks
know.
at you for a second, and then she says, "You haven't touched your tea, have you?"
Throw it in her face. Throw it in her face. Throw it in her face.
Poison. Oh no, it won't work on it. Don't waste it.
Is there something wrong with my tea?
Fen-
Perhaps you'd like some biscuits to go with it.
Or some cakes. I have spare.
Fenthaza, you know as well as I the factions within our race.
Labour left. Right. The tankies.
Indeed. It is a tangled
Fenthaza's
web.
drunk.
She might be.
It is a tangled web. And who trusts who is not an easy game to play.
Yes, Hoomst is the most trusted of Hoomst.
Whom should say
Oops, there it is.
You Hoomsted of.
She looks.
I-
She suddenly.
Yeah, she's hammered,
No.
by the way.
She's not.
Shannon.
She's not. And with suddenly a lightning impulse, she darts forward with a serpentine grace, despite her human figure, and suddenly is inches away from you, not touching you, but staring at your face intently. She looks at you, and then she suddenly cocks her head to the side and addresses Drazik.
Drysack.
Drazik.
And she says, "Drazik,
Rack off, Drazik.
that will be all. Leave us." And he scurries out of the room, and now we cut to the three of you who are leaving the storeroom. To your right is the way to so furthest to the back to the east is the corridor that Bobby went down,
Can
and
I-
to the west, blessed clean air.
Quickly, before we leave the room, I'm just going to do a perception check to see if there's anything valuable in the alchemy room.
Yep.
Oh, you've had a little nap.
Yeah.
He's after his nap.
I failed. I got a 6, but I'm just gonna take whatever just a random sampling of chemicals.
All right, so you
To-
take 3 jars. 2 of them are one in dark green, one in light green, and one in iridescent purple. Each of them
Ooh.
slushing
Maybe
with
one of them's turtle dye.
a viscous,
Oh, we can go
Some-
home.
some kind of they're all obviously alchemical compounds.
But
And
they're all coloured. None of them are cum. Interesting. All right. cool.
Interesting.
All right, and
What colour do snakes come?
Ooh, do
great
not know.
question.
Put that in the
Great
chat.
question.
Yeah, put it in the wiki, please.
Please don't. That's not how that works. This is not a direct line. Jane Ritt is the editor. She decides what is in the wiki.
Well, that's a suggestion from me.
Somebody's written "Kiss her, you fool."
Ah, someone else has too. Just kiss the girl. La 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 la
Yeah,
la.
you're so
my
big,
oh my.
Being half a snaky lady. Not a lot. Okay.
I think we should stand at the corridor and ready to with our weapons ready in case someone comes flying out.
Okay, so you
So-
want to set an ambush at the corridor.
Yep.
Great.
This is where we see they've gone.
Where Bobby's went.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did we lock that door behind us when we left? Nope. Okay.
Nope.
Cool.
Oh, we can go back and get stuff
No, it's
later
fine.
if we need
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
Someone
So
might find that.
so they went down the corridor where it smelled like blood.
But also, has Drysack come out of?
No.
Yeah, Dream Drunk left the room, right? So
Yeah.
we can take him and beat him up. Let's do
Yeah,
that.
Drizzy K hasn't come back yet. So so you're waiting at the corridor, and I want you all quickly to make a stealth check for me. Tell me, just shout out the numbers.
I'm not very stealthy.
Stealth. Oh no.
Stealth.
Just shout out the numbers.
That's a
5,
number
14.
4 for old Phil G.
Alright.
She's carrying a lot of pots.
And
so.
Bobby?
Hi.
Clang,
Clang, clang, clang, clang.
All right.
14.
Great, excellent. With cat-like grace, the dragon friends dart into shadows and seem to melt away, impressing even themselves with their wonderful stealth. We'll see how it holds up. And you wait for a little bit, and you can hear comings and goings, but so far, no Yuan-Ti have come through the corridor.
Trembit makes quite a good point that the poisoner is probably coming back that way.
That's right.
He
Yeah.
is, yep. They haven't come back yet.
But they don't know that yet.
Yeah, and again, it's you. The problem is you guys are sort of at a crossroads, right? So they could come at from any direction. So you've got quite a bit of ground to cover here. But it does mean that someone probably will come through at some stage.
But if we go down towards the blood smell, is there a? Can I rather than because is a corridor a good place for an ambush?
Well, you're at a crossroads, so you could roll to see if the devil would teach you guitar.
you could bury a vampire.
I want to creep down towards the blood smell.
All right, so suddenly after everyone sets up their ambush, Baston just makes a complicated hand gesture, gets down on his belly, and starts
Dun, 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 dun.
commandoing up the corridor.
Mm-hmm.
You guys just stay.
Baston, what you doing?
wanted to. Trust me.
Should we come?
Yeah. No, I'll be BRB.
Okay. All right.
And Baston's, further splitting the party, makes his way into the Fane-like cathedral.
Yeah, because my idea was like just to look for a better place for an ambush.
There are
rather
pillars spaced out all through this area, so it's actually quite easy to hide.
Okay, so I'll go back to them and be like, let's do this. This place way
Okay.
better.
Cool. So we go with
Okay.
that.
You make your way into the cathedral, and the moment it seems that you guys hide yourselves behind the pillars, you suddenly hear bells ringing.
Oh, shit.
Dong, 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 dong. And as they do, a procession of Yuan-Ti slither in from the north, from the two doors in the east and from the west, and soon the room starts to fill up. Meanwhile, you suddenly hear in Fenthaza's room a bell beginning to ring at a distance, and Fenthaza looks at you and says, "That will be the bloodwetting. It seems that Dustin's time as a human has ended."
Is it Justin or Dustin?
You said Dustin.
Justin.
She has a lisp.
But it's
you
a
just-
lisp that turns J's into
Into
D's.
Ds.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you just
Can you stick with that? Can you commit to
Oh
that for
God. Okay. But if you just let her be hammered, it'll make a lot more sense.
Wait, did she get D's and J's mixed up?
Yeah.
In which case, how do you say Judge Dredd?
me? Dudge Dread.
Dudge did.
Drudge Report. So she says, this will require everyone. This will take all of Raznasi's people, and it will give us an opening. Come with me. And she suddenly indicates for you to follow and walks towards the door.
I do.
She says, "Oh, one more thing," and spins around. I almost forgot. Dispel magic, and she casts a spell, and you revisualize.
Like, did you cast a spell on me and turn me into a hobbit?
I think she'd know what spell she cast.
It's quite impressive. I met you before, didn't I, in the grotto?
Yes, my lady.
Well,
I mean, yes, my lady.
Well, it seems you have usefulness after all. Come on.
don't you and your friends get around? Come with me. And she starts, and she indicates for you to follow. And as she does, she talks to you and tells you all about her plan
Yeah.
that Dave explained to Ben a week ago. It's fair. 2 weeks ago. And she gets all the D's and J's
Oh, God,
mixed up.
shut up.
Don't be shy. This is thinking time.
You see, Raznasi was essential for the opening of the city of Omu. But after that, I tend to feel that he's outstayed his welcome. Your thoughts?
I agree.
See, I'm absolutely gaga for the snake god.
I mean,
And I want to bring him back so he can devour the universe.
This is so great. This is like hearing. I love hearing like when I tell Ben translated back.
Anyway, absolutely bonkers for the snake god. Want to bring him back.
Big fan.
Big fan. Need to do a ritual. But you know what I don't need? Ra's bloody Nasi. Least of all, Justin. So here's
Least of all,
Dustin. He should check out. Anyway, in this universe, the film was called Dustin Checks In.
Wait, so did she say? Did she call it Justin Checks?
Yes, she does.
it's also Dunstan, but that's fine.
No, that's it. In this universe, it was
but
called.
is the movie the same in every other way?
Every other way.
But Justin's name
it,
isn't Johnston.
it was a really popular traveling play that mummers would do. Where they
And in this movie, there was an ape.
a play,
Oh, sorry. In this play, there was an ape that checked into an
An inn?
an inn, a fancy inn.
Is it
It's
Johnston
check
checks in?
in two N
Yeah,
N's.
great.
Okay.
And Faye Dunaway's in both of them, which is sad.
So, she goes on to explain.
I'm gaga. I'm boo boo. I'm goo goo eyed for Dendar the Night Serpent.
She goes on to explain that most
you.
of this particular sect of Yuan-Ti are ancient Yuan-Ti who come from bloodlines of over 100 years. Raznasi, of course.
Wait a second. If it's all, but she's like most recently been like, if she's a pure blood and looks most human, she's a recent.
No, she was born of pure bloods.
Oh, okay.
And but her family has been Yuan-Ti, and the Raznasi, of course, was risen from the dead, and he was a human paladin from the paladins that came here with Camp Righteous about 100 years ago.
Right.
But there was a prophecy that said that he would one day betray the city and open the gates of Omu. And the Yuan-Ti have managed to make Raz Nasi do this, and they have fulfilled the prophecy, which is how the city was opened, and in doing so, he has outlived his usefulness to Fenthaza, and she believes to Dendar. Now, of course...
Literally what I said.
Yeah, I think Ben really covered
did a
it
pretty
actually
good
really
job.
well.
Yeah.
Can we just quickly give a
I
round
think
of
what you
applause for
didn't
Ben
cover is
because
how
he
she
covered
felt
it.
about the snake god.
What will we do? Thank God Ben's here because he's really keeping us
Yep.
on track.
As she says this,
I'm Gaga for Dendar.
she takes you through...
Merch.
She takes you through this... but yes, this...
Here's something that you might not know about the snake god. He feeds on nightmares and is currently... he's
Are you cribbing from the chat? She takes you through the sacrificial room that was near the pits that you were originally left in, where you met Skerrick and Mabon, who you have since abandoned, and then...
Oh, yeah, those two.
We're meant to help them or kill them?
No, who can remember?
And as you can see through sort of holes cut into the side of the rock, there is a balcony on the other side leading into that vast cathedral space that you had come through, and you can see that standing on that balcony is the figure with his back to you of Raz Nasi, and we now cut to the three of you hiding behind pillars, where
There's a procession happening?
the room floods in with Yuan-Ti, and they start chanting Raz Nasi, Raz Nasi.
Let's just chant
Raz.
with them. Hope no one notices.
Yep.
Ooh, I think that's a risk.
You are hiding behind pillars at the moment.
So can't they? Can they see us?
I'm a snake, man.
wanna
It's
see
Raz
that.
Nasi, a sort of a
A
socialist
7-classy
leader.
party couldn't hold me
Basically
back.
Jeremy Corbyn.
Good number.
Yeah.
Gonna
Glastonbury.
open the door.
So Raz Nasi appears in a moment of triumph, flanked by Justin and another Yuan-Ti who is, you recognize from his black leather armor, as slave master Istar, another Yuan-Ti you had already met.
know who we are.
Was the slave master the one who was trying to help us?
No, Slave Master was one that didn't want to sully his tongue with common, and so he had that precocious little boy translate for him.
Yes.
What? Oh God! What should we do?
How many snakes are there, Dave?
Oh, I would say 60.
Oh, okay. We need to run then.
You're in the shadows in the pillars at the back of the room, and they only fill about the top third of the room. So they're all actually...
Can you give us a quick squiz at the map?
Yeah.
Oh, no, you'd have a map if you hadn't.
It's
No, but I can still see the layout of the room being in the room.
So you're at the back 40 feet of the room, and then there's another 60 feet in front, and they're in the top front 30 feet, and then there's a balcony about 15 feet up, which Raz Nasi is on.
Okay. And so we're below the balcony?
You're not only 15 feet below him and in the shadows, you're about 60 feet away from him. So it's...
Oh, so just to be clear, we're down this end, Rasmus down that end,
Yeah.
and he's on a balcony,
Yeah, they came through the doors in front of you.
and they're facing
Yeah.
that way, but he's facing this way, so he can see us.
He could if you stepped out from behind the pillars.
Why don't we?
Because
just,
it's also quite empty where you are, so it would be quite noticeable.
Okay.
And Raz Nasi holds up a hand, and the snakes go quiet, and he says, as promised, I have brought you here to this desecrated space.
So this desecrated space.
As promised,
As promised,
I have opened the gates that could never be opened,
I did that.
betraying the promise of my people such that Dendar's will be done as promised.
Dendar's will be done. And may I just say,
I have
am
brought-
Gaga for Dendar.
I have brought you Justin, our newest recruit who is ready to undergo the ritual of the Malison to realize his destiny. Justin, do you have anything to say?
Good evening, Omu. I just want to say it's great to be here. Night Snake!
I cannot stress enough that the room is giving him nothing.
Woo! All right. Who's it? Who loves Dendar? I'm Gaga for Dendar!
Get on with it!
Yeah, okay.
Is that you?
That was
I think
Friezo.
I think that's Friezo's voice. But such is their detest for Justin that you can actually see a few of the snakes nodding in agreement.
Yeah, get on with it. What that shadowy thing said.
Of course, the bloodletting is a ritual that requires an offering. Justin, to the pit. and he indicates, and the two other Yuanti grab him by
Mosh pit. Sorry.
grab him. They actually grab you quite roughly from the arms, though he tries to make it look like he wants to go.
Yeah.
And they drag him into the central stone cauldron, which, as I said, is about ankle deep in old fetid blood. And then Raz Nasi says, "For there is no power without sacrifice. Are you ready for that sacrifice, Justin?"
About that, I feel like I just need to pee.
Silence!
I just need to pee right now. I gotta go.
But it comes out silence.
And Raz Nasi suddenly again lifts up his hand in a sort of gesture, and the Raz Nasi drag forward about quite a few of them into this side of the room. About 20 young paladins, junior paladins, all in black cloth that is ripped, gagged, and their hands tied behind them, and they've been pulled in, all of them wearing slave collars. Yeah. And Raz Nasi says, "Justin, are you ready to sacrifice that with which you came to be born into this world again with nothing?"
I want my dad.
Imagine saying that after killing him, you fucking idiot. That's also
I'm
a heckle from the back of the room.
Only you would know that.
Take them to the letting stone, and they are dragged back up the ramp towards the room that you saw before with the altars that get cut and the blood that pours down.
Oh, because Justin's he's regretting his choices now.
He is, but he's a coward as well. So
he's like, right. So it's them or him, basically.
Yeah.
These were all his old buddies, right?
Yeah.
They probably grew up together.
Oh yeah. They
At
did.
Camp Righteous, playing stickball.
And he's like, brothers, I've known you for like years. Know that your sacrifice is totally metal.
And they're pleading with their eyes.
Yeah, they're all gagged, but
So-
one of them is trying to say something.
So who's about to get sacrificed? Is it Justin or is it all the kids?
All the kids, so that Justin can turn into a snake monster.
Oh.
Kids who've gone rogue and stuff
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Justin's black guard.
And they're
if you
like
remember.
20 years old.
Yeah,
right?
he had a little
18,
warlock.
19.
18? Okay, cool.
Yes, they're all between the ages of 12 to 20.
Oh, this is a real Coney situation. I don't like that at all.
Coney 2012.
Yeah, I think we got to save him.
I found
Yeah.
Coney and stopped him.
Is that why we don't get those
not.
flyers anymore?
Yeah, because I found him and I said, "Oi,
Get out of
that!"
Oi,
Get
get out
out.
of it! Oi! I've bloody had enough of you.
But up to here, Coney.
Get out of it.
And now we cut back, and Fenthaza has, in the time that this ritual is happening,
Is anyone seeing? She's just like walking along the corridor, and I'm like,
no. She knows where the ritual is. Everybody's eyes are towards Raz Nasi, and she's just walking with purpose and expecting you to follow her.
I'm following at close quarters.
Yep, and she takes you through and slips through to a portal, written sort of raised.
Right.
No, this is the kind of portal you like.
Good.
Of raised polished obsidian, and she steps on it. She clicks her fingers, indicating for you to come.
Yep,
and then
do
she
it.
says a word that seems impossible to pronounce.
You're gonna go
How's that
fight
spelt?
an Ender Dragon.
She says a
Can
word.
you give it a crack?
What's that word?
I thought pestle might be the one for you that Dave.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Nice.
Oh,
Do I get a dice of inspiration for bullying?
yeah.
You to know what?
You don't have to give her that,
I'm
Dave.
not going to.
Come on,
I'm
Dave.
not going to.
Come
And
on, Dave. It was a long setup.
Sweet alley-oop.
the
I'm
world,
just gonna take this.
the world shimmers, and you suddenly find yourself in a new space.
The chair broke. Excuse me.
Welcome to
I was going to get
Shamrock
another
Forest.
chair.
The funny thing is, there's no other chairs in this room. The only thing he could sit on is a unicycle.
Not even.
Get the unicycle. Live unicycle.
For you find yourself in a.
Here, I can.
Get on it, Simon. You can do it, can't you? You were doing it before a bit. Right.
Let's all have a go while we wait for Hing to come.
On the unicycle? Okay, you go, Alex. I want to see you on the unicycle.
I've lowered it, so make sure that
In Chult, there was a camp of paladins that went by the name of Camp Righteous. Those paladins went foul, and that camp is now a smoking ruin. For Justin led them into the jungle, promising fame and power beyond their tiny lives. That black guard have joined forces with the Yuan-Ti, which is something I would not suggest you do, for now they are ready to be sacrificed, and the dragon friends can do naught but watch helplessly. Meanwhile, Bobby, lost in time and space, gone through a portal, emerging who knows where, with someone I would describe as a friend at best, more likely a Yuan-Ti with purpose of her own.
And she's hammered.
And she's Compost Mentos. Compost Mentos. Compost Mentos.
It's the
Compass
worst flavor of Mentos.
Terrible flavor. Very fertile, but gross.
What, can the dragon friends intervene? Do they even want to? Where is Bobby? And what of that rampaging Hydra? Did Mabon survive? Remember Mabon? He seemed lovely. For the answers to questions such as these, tune in next week to the next adventure of the Dragon Friends. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us live.
Oh,
Do we
live.
get to do talking to
We could do a
them
Q&A. We
Yeah.
can-
Live
we
internet.
have a
Can I
bit of...
just stop for a second? A lot of people are booing this normal chair.
now?
Oh, boot a normal tablecloth
Oh,
too.
sorry.
I agree, SEO Craft. I like the dead bug tablecloth
Yeah.
It
better.
was very distracting. I had to watch the stream. It hurt my eyes.
It
The
hurt.
flowers are nice.
Everyone was very angry about it.
You need nice things sometimes to remember that wacky things are wacky. If we're all sitting here on bloody unicycles the whole time,
Yeah.
There'd be no Dungeons and
there'd
Dragons.
be nothing.
Oh my god.
Oh.
We have time for.
Thank you for the claps.
I reckon we got about
Hopefully.
10 minutes if anyone wants to ask any questions.
That was awesome.
If you've got a question about chairs,
If you want to
tablecloths,
watch us
The worst
ride a
chair.
the
unicycle.
worst chair.
Now, Ben, you can ride a unicycle, can't you?
Do you want to see Ben ride a
No,
unicycle?
well,
I do.
I do.
All right, do the
Ride a
equivalent of a
cycle.
chant in the chat.
There's a lot of cables here.
There's a lot
a
of
lot of cable.
a lot of vision mixing suites.
I think you're out of shot.
I think you're
there.
out of shot and not on a microphone.
Yeah, you got to come across the middle.
Yeah, who can and cannot ride a unicycle for the wiki?
I cannot, as we've
I
demonstrated.
cannot.
I can, but I refuse to because of the.
So Ben, just to be clear, that when you were in high school, you knew how to ride a unicycle, you knew magic tricks.
I was really. Did you ever have like a girlfriend or anything, or like?
Yeah.
What?
oh, there's a cable there that I'm
That's-
going to have to run over.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Take the cable.
Wizards of the Coast have given us insurance, right?
You don't get that on any of the other D&D podcasts.
Yeah.
Ben Jenkins falling off a unicycle.
From trying to go over a very thick cable.
Um,
Ben have a
and
top
very
hat in high
expensive
school?
cable. Yeah.
Jump the cable.
Did you have a top hat? I owned swords. That was the cool thing
Yeah,
I
I
owned.
didn't
I
have a
owned
top hat.
I owned a few swords.
Dave, someone on the chat asked a question.
Yeah.
Do they
I
even
thought you
know they're in
feathers.
Omu? Why are they there?
No,
What-
they don't know. What's behind the
Getting
screen?
LASIK turtle
Good.
dye.
What's behind the screen? Good question. A Pepsi. On my side, maps of the Fane of the Night Serpent. I have NPC notes
Watch.
here. I've got watches. I've got here just a lot of.
Oh my God, Helen, did you really gif it?
I have clippings of NPCs that I think might come up. Ben, what have you got on your side?
I got some dice that I was putting in my ear earlier
And a Pepsi.
and a Pepsi.
Which you didn't rub in your eye like we asked.
Yeah.
Someone's asked about Benny. He's having a lovely time in Singapore.
Yeah, he moved to Singapore.
Oh, we totally do miss with playing.
Yeah, it
having
really
Yeah.
keeps us on track.
Having a bard
It really
rules.
does.
we
And
miss Benny a lot.
I
Is
feel
the
like
answer?
what I didn't realize was that Benny only lets you guys get away with so much shit. He's a good reset for me.
yeah,
Yeah.
like this is ridiculous.
Benny's in Singapore, and he's still doing a whole lot of his stuff. You should check out his Patreon, and he's got an album that he's just put out on
It's
Spotify,
mad.
which with some with really cool music videos. Have you seen the music
Yeah.
videos?
The
So
Human Jukebox?
no. This is the new
Oh,
Benny
he's
Davis project. I
new
think he's
Benny.
launching a new website, which we'll share when it comes out. So there's a lot of stuff that he's doing, and I think he's going to come back and do shows as well when he's back. He's
You'll
just
see
Yeah.
Benny.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's
absolutely.
in Singapore.
But he's studying as well. He's doing studying audio engineering, so it's like not a lot of breaks in terms of so.
Yeah. So if
Be
you want
busy.
Benny to make music
Yeah.
for you,
And
get in touch
Simon's not
we'll
allowed
pass him on.
back in Singapore, so we can't go there.
Yeah, that's
the,
true.
the great gum incident of
Yes.
2007.
Yes.
Question: what do you think of the D&D Twitch channel?
It's great.
It's
great.
good.
I
It's
love
very
it.
different.
Thank you
to
very much
ours.
for having
Enjoy
us.
it.
Dragon
tell you what,
Friends
You
rules.
love
When-
it.
Oh,
if-
someone just added to Patreon $5
Aw.
because of the unicycle.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, rebooting from start.
More unicycle content.
You know, we love
clearly-
this because if we ever Twitch streamed on our own channel, I reckon we wouldn't get like
No.
the numbers.
No, it's great. And
Talking of Ben doing things for the Patreon.
This is rapidly degenerating into a telethon.
we that tattoo's coming up pretty soon.
Where are you going to get it? Forehead, chest, or neck?
I'm going to get it on my leg.
Sorry. The question is forehead, chest, or neck. Those are the three options.
Have you
neck
ever
is
designed
the
a
leg
tattoo
of the
small enough
head.
to fit in the head of a dick? Just a little DF. That's all it needs.
Anyone
One other
guess?
question.
Do you mean Twitch guests?
No, yeah, special guests. So
Let's get some.
we've got a bunch of special guests planned. We start our podcast again in February.
3 days after this guy's
we-
birthday.
Totally, we're going to have Angela Verpierre do the podcast.
Yeah, on a cello. We got she's going to be barding for us on a. Have you ever seen a Bear Pack show? With Steve Skopoulos and Carla Ritchie, she does the music for them on her cello, and she's going to be, so we're going to have a cellist.
It's going to be real class.
If we have any viewers in Melbourne, we're going to be doing a show at the Comedy Festival as well this year.
April
7th.
April
It's going
7th.
to be a live show in Melbourne.
Yeah.
It's part of the Comedy Festival. Which
We're
is
also
exciting.
going to have Demi Lardner on the podcast
Yep.
soon.
Yep.
So yeah, there's a bunch of special guests planned. I'm sure we'll have Tom Walker again.
I refuse to. I will not work with that boy.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe not.
The
And if there's anyone you'd want to see who we haven't thought of, tell us, and we'll maybe get one.
Yeah, no. Just tweet us.
Yeah.
If you want to, if there's board games you'd like us to play, if there is one-shot systems, somebody suggested that they wanted us to play
the bear one?
Grant Howitt RPG called Honey Heist,
Yeah.
where all of you have
Bees.
you have two stats, which is a stat of how much of a bear you are, and a stat of how much of a criminal you are, and that's how you create your character that's a criminal bear. And then
Steals honey?
you steal honey. You plan a heist.
Yeah.
And I think
That
we're going
sounds
to play
great.
that as a one-shot.
Someone has asked us if Robin Williams will be guesting on the podcast. I have some
No,
terrible
you know
news
what?
for you.
Do you know what? Just get off the internet now. Everything is magical, and Robin.
He's still good.
That's a-
Somebody, thank you, Helen. She's gifted.
Wow.
James Earl Jones would also be a very good
Oh,
guest.
do you know who'd be great at the
You know
podcast?
what?
Gary Gygax.
Yeah.
I love Gary.
Yeah.
One time, Michael Hinks saw Ben Mendelsohn on a plane.
Asked
and
him to be on
asked
his.
him to be on a
To be clear,
podcast.
Ben Mendelsohn saw me on a plane and approached me. To be clear, right? I didn't go to Ben Mendelsohn.
Oh, because he knew you from Good Game,
Yeah, because
right?
he knew our show. I wasn't. I'm not. I'm too awkward to approach anyone, let alone Ben Mendelsohn.
And you said, "Hey, do you want to be in our D&D thing?" And he was like, "Absolutely not. I was just in Star Wars. Are you out of your fucking mind?"
Didn't you send an email to his agent?
No, so what happened? Yeah, okay, yes, I did send
It's
Ben Mendelsohn.
good.
to him.
It's good.
Yeah.
He could have got Ben Mendelsohn.
No, but look. This is going to sound very weird, but he was quite keen. But then he wasn't in Australia for long enough. That's what he said, which I think he was just being polite, mate.
Yeah, I think he was just being polite.
But I think to his credit, he was very polite.
What do you
Thanks,
think our
Mendo.
chances of getting
Think of a name.
anyone?
What?
I want Joe. I'm
That's what I was
confident.
going to say. I was saying Joe Manganiello.
If Joe
Joe.
is in, Joe Manganiello, you need to do a movie so you can come here for the premiere so you can do Dragon Friends. That should be your priority,
Yeah.
not your.
At Joe
Wild for
Manfellow
wild, yeah.
on Twitter, at him. We'll get him.
People asking about the Gribbets thing. Should we talk about the Gribbets thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't actually explained what this is, but we've written a adventure for the next Dragon magazine.
That's incredible.
So we've created a one-shot adventure for 4 level 1 adventures that is set between season 1 and season 2, and I think we're going to get you guys to playtest it at some point because none of you guys have read it yet.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So
Um,
Dragon.
And,
oh, I
and
missed
original,
what it was,
so story by me and Dave, original art by Simon Christopher Greiner.
yeah, I've been teasing a bit of the art on
And
the
can you
little
play as
Instagram.
our characters?
No, but you kind of play with our characters.
Oh, so they're coming along for the ride.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it takes.
Finally, your chance to kill Frieza.
If you remember, season 1 ended with a big fire and a dragon escaping, and season 2 ended with Friezo selling his bakery, and you'd all moved to Barovia.
Started with that.
Yeah, so started. This covers that section, explains
Oh.
how all that stuff
Oh.
It's
happened.
like an interstitial.
It's Rogue
like
One,
Rogue
if
One.
you will.
It's Rogue One.
And this campaign, like Rogue One, also stars Ben Mendelsohn.
Yeah. And when we get it out, if people. No, okay, good, thank you.
You caught yourself. That was fine.
Yeah, then we would love it if people tell us what it was like. If you want to record a Twitch stream of playing it, we would love to see people play it.
Yeah.
'Cause we've never written an adventure before, and
Yeah.
I got a lot of
Except for
notes.
this show that you do all the time.
Oh, it's harder. You've got to write a lot more. I discovered, and I got a lot of very polite notes today from Dragon Magazine back that were like, "Very good question. This is really fun. I love this. these are level 1 adventurers, yes, because this will definitely kill everyone. Like, it's the balance was very, very bad.
See, you
apparently.
are too hard on us as a DM,
Yeah,
Dave.
exactly.
The internet.
That's
That's it.
Next week won't be live, unfortunately,
But we'll be
because
in the chatty
some
chat.
of us are in a play.
Oh.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But you can catch, if you're in Sydney, you can catch Alex's play, Single Asian Female, at the Belvoir Street Theatre.
Come along.
And we've got our season premiere on February
13. 13?
13th.
13 is the recording, and then the show will go out the next Friday. So, yeah, podcast will be coming out on Fridays this year.
Yeah.
And it's the week starting the 18th, I think. Great. All right. Well, thank you very much.
See you next week.
Thanks for
Bye.
tuning in live. Bye.